rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.
Good afternoon, live from the London O2 Arena. As the SLB season reaches its climax, Oakland Wolves and Sheffield Hatters battle it out on the biggest stage of them all. And this is what we all been waiting for, building for this moment, the SLB playoffs. I didn't get much sleep last night. I wonder if these teams did. There it is right there. You see the Hatters looking smiled up, locked in, looking for a little bit of revenge as we get a rematch from the Cup final. The opposition, the Oakland Wolves, as they hunt for the treble to add the icing on what's already been an incredible season. Buckle yourself up, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy the ride. We will be here all afternoon to give you the ones and twos. Well, there it is, the matchup we've been waiting for. Sheffield Hatters versus the Oakland Wolves here from the iconic London O2 Arena. Tip-off coming off in approximately 30 minutes. Well, welcome inside, ladies and gentlemen. We will have a great game in store today. We got two heavyweights looking to battle off at the top spot to be the top dog. And speaking of dogs, I got my hitters with me, two Commonwealth silver medalists to be exact, Siobhan Pryor and the Queen, Z, Azania Stewart. Z, I need you to reflect. Last time we seen you on this floor, you won you a championship, walked off to the sunset, never to be seen of again. How special is this event?
Yeah, you're right. I retired in this building and it's quite a full circle for me. This is a massive arena, you know, big superstars have performed here, Usher, you know, everyone, the Spice Girls. It's an incredible moment, especially for the SLB, to finish up, to put a bow on the season is right now. And that is what it's all about. I think the lights are bright and who's going to show up and show out.
Well, Ali Murs was here last night. Siobhan, give us a little bit of an appetizer. What have you seen from this matchup over the course of the season?
I mean, what we've seen really is a flip on what history has shown us. Over the last 7 seasons, it's been 13 straight losses for Oaklands against Sheffield. But this season, they played each other 3 times, twice in the regular season, once in the Cup final. Oakland's on top every single time. They are the team to beat. But Sheffield are getting closer. The last time these guys played each other, they only lost by 3. So I think they're ready. They're ready to take that crown.
Well, Z, give us some hope. How are the Hatters going to get over that hump here today?
Well, I think it's really important. Their stars have to show up and they have to show out. Like I said, I think Gail has to come to play. She's been a floor general, which is important. But it's the little things for me, Drew. Are you diving on the floor? The stats that aren't statted on the sheet. Are you screening well? Are you doing the 1% things that are going to win you a championship? You've got to play defense and you've got to play hard. So I need the superstars to step up and then the team confidence will build from there.
Well, finally, Siobhan, how we talk about pressure a lot. Is there pressure on Oakland to get it done today?
You know, I think there's pressure on both teams, honestly. I think Oakland's have made themselves the team to beat. They've got that target on their back, so that's always a pressure. But, you know, Sheffield have been here before, all right? They're going to feel the pressure of a champion always, even if they feel like the underdog today. So both teams in a similar position, really.
Well, these teams got an opportunity to match up over the course of the season. They're in the Cup. It was the Oakland Wolves that were the last one-man standing, as you see it there, Z. What a day.
Fantastic, and you know, I felt like they really hit shots, especially Ashby. I thought she was great down the run. They really got out strong and punch first, and that's what it's all about in the finals. You know, who can get the momentum? It's up and down. Who can get, you know, scoring well, feeling good? But the Hatters, they're going to feel disappointment from that Cup final.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, ladies, we appreciate you guys setting the table for us. Let's zero in on these teams, kicking things off with the Sheffield Hatters over the course of the season. 17-3, only second best in the league. But in the playoffs, got things going, mopped up the Northeast, taking care of Durham and Newcastle by a combined 76 points. Take a look.
When you're a professional team in the top league, you want to win. And, you know, coming second in the league, getting to cup final, semi-final of the trophy, now a playoff final, it's been a successful season. Let's just hope we can get that piece of silverware on Sunday to top it off.
It's been such a strange season. I don't think I've ever had a season where I've had this many player changes. I feel like we've been so unlucky with the injuries and things that have happened. But I'm really proud of the team for getting to the O2 despite all of that.
I think back then we were going through a couple of changes and we just didn't kind of come out ready as a team. I think we had the ability to beat them, but I think just we didn't play how we know we can. So I think coming into this game, preparing, focusing on us, playing as a team, I think it'll be a good game either way. But yeah, obviously I think we're going in as the underdogs, which I think is a good thing because we have nothing to lose really. So yeah, I think it's a good matchup.
Yeah, we did not play our game. We played really slow, we didn't play physical, and we were defeated basically. Like, we just gave up, and I think this time we know what we can do. We played them in the league after that, and it was a really close game at their place. We got into foul trouble, and those are the little things that we could improve on, like stopping Shanice. So I think this week in practice we've really focused on those areas that we need to improve on.
You know, it's really important that coming off our last game against Newcastle, because we'd had 2 tough games previously, that we played so well and followed, you know, what we needed to do, and, you know, a near perfect performance from the team offensively and defensively. So going into a final of a performance like that does generate confidence, does generate belief, and, you know, gives us a good platform to give it a go.
I'm glad that they didn't run away from that cup debacle. You can see it there. That wasn't a true reflection of Sheffield. What do you think they learned from that experience?
Well, I think Georgia Girl there said it perfectly. They were slow. They came out, you know, with no energy. In practice, they've worked on moving the ball, moving faster. But the lucky thing for them is that they can, you know, learn from that experience just 2 months ago, and now they can come and put that on the floor. You know, some people have to wait seasons to remember that, you know, that pressure, that loss, but here they are, hungry only 2 months ago, and now they can put that back on the floor and, you know, learn from that experience.
Getting another opportunity. Only 51 points scored in that cup final. Siobhan, over the playoffs, offense has been no problem.
Absolutely no problem. I mean, you know, we saw Georgia there. They were disappointed. They were all disappointed with how they played in that cup final. But the quarterfinal and the semi-final of the playoffs have been a totally different story. And I think part of that is how well they're shooting from 3. They've shot 46% in the playoff run. Candini was 8 of 9. She set a record for the most threes in a playoff. So they're shooting really well. And I think if they shoot well today, it could be a different story.
And that confidence too, right? Coming off the quarters and the semis, they're feeling good. I think Coach Vanessa talked about it. They need to feel that confidence, and that's what they've done so well.
Let's piggyback off of Siobhan. Emma, Gandini, more like Houdini. She's been absolute magic in the playoffs, Z.
She has, and I feel here she is. And for me, it's that percentage, that 56% from 2, but also shooting so well, 37%. But if they take away that 3, she's happy, more than happy to put the ball on the floor. She's 31 years old. She's playing with that veteran leadership. She's also won a championship in Australia in the WNBL. So she's got that experience, but I saw a nice interview with her, and she said, I'm just going to shoot the shots that are open. She's letting the game come to her, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. You know she's going to be on the top of Oakland scouting report, Siobhan. Does she have what it takes to overcome this defensive tension she'll be getting today?
You know, I think she's got experience, like Z said, and she's also an up-tempo type player, so she's always going to lean on that. She's 5th in the league in steals, so she relies on her defense for her offense. That's not going to change. Look, I don't think that Oaklands are really going to overcorrect. She scored 30 points, but she averages 11, all right? So as long as they stay disciplined, we saw in the semi-final Newcastle a little ill-disciplined with her. They lost her on the weak side. They gambled a little bit in the passing lanes. As long as Oaklands don't do that today and they're there on the catch, they'll be okay. But if they leave her wide open, it's going to be a long night.
Cash money. Well, there is the Sheffield Hatters. Let's flip the script over to the opponents. The Oakland Wolves, 18-2 over the season, which made them league champions in the playoffs. A little bit more battle-tested in the quarterfinals. Leicester Riders giving them a scare. But then in the semis, it was the Caledonia Gladiators, which they were able to squeeze by.
We're motivated. We're ready to go. We spent a lot of time talking about the program goals and the things that we want to do all the way through the year. This one's for us. This one's just for the connection on the team. They're such a good team. They bonded so well. So this is just putting that cherry on the top that will give them those connections for the rest of their lives.
I've learned that chemistry is really like a key component, like, because I haven't had chemistry with the team like I have with this one, especially in our first year playing together. So like, if you just really trust each other and you really do like, just like get along so well, like it carries over to how you play basketball together.
I think SLB is definitely up there. If we're talking like previous club and playing for London and where I'm at now. Like when I think about it, it kind of reminds me of that first year at London of like Mark Clark had a dream and a goal and he put this team together to be able to do some great things. And it's a similar thing here, which is I think why I've enjoyed being here so much, because we're kind of laying the groundwork for what's to come for this club and for this organization. And for us to do this in this first year, like, yes, I'm not surprised, but it's a great achievement. So I think to be able to lift a trophy with this team is going to be high up there. We thought top four, obviously going never higher than 8th before. We thought we put a roster together that looked like it was a top 4 team. On paper, that's what we had as aspiration. And obviously we wanted to grow the program. We wanted to really take it, move it on a step from just an academy-based program to having a full pro team. And obviously we smashed those 2 things. It's been amazing. I think it's just the fact that it's the final for us. Like, obviously we made it to the last 2 finals, but this one is like the biggest one, and this is for it all. So I think that's what makes it like so exciting and so big.
Okay, well, let me sum that up for you, ladies. They coming to throw out that legacy knockout punch, Siobhan.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about legacy a lot. There's a couple of players on that team that have been with Oakland since the start, Beth Sarson being one. Lee, the coach, he's been there since the start as well. So they really want to lay the foundations for generations of Wolves to come. They have a chance to get a treble today, something only London and Sheffield have done. So that really could build a big legacy.
And see, you know a little bit about legacy, but this second half of the season, the Wolves have been a lot more challenged.
Yeah, you know, and I think they've had their challenges in the trophy that they were disappointed on. They lost to Caledonia, then a really hard game in the semi-finals against Caledonia again. But I feel like they've won the regular season, and you have to build that feeling off of it. You have to understand that we're a team. This is how we got here. Do all the little things that got you to the final. But enjoy this moment. I think it's a long day, as we all know. We've all been in finals where it's not your regular routine. You're not sleeping at home. You know, you're here all day. You can't get on the court till certain times. So all these things kind of factor into a final.
And that's a great point. They are a collection of team, but they do have one player, Sam Ashby. She's really been ascending.
Yeah, she really has. What a great season for her. I mean, she's had all of the accolades, Team of the Year, British Team of the Year. She got crowned Cup Final MVP as well. She leads the team in points. You see the stats right there. She's also second in assists and third in steals as well. So just a real leader for this team. And she's talked about, you know, Coach Lee giving her the reins, and she's really appreciative of that role. And when I talked to her last night, she was really just batting it all off towards her teammates. She wanted to talk about Danielle McRae, and I know we're going to talk about her later, but she's really shared the load with Ashby this year, and if it wasn't for her as well, they just wouldn't have been as successful.
Well, since you're the most accomplished out of us 3, it's only right that I come to you. How does a superstar like Sam handle the expectations of having to perform on this stage?
Yeah, I think for me was breaking it down to smaller moments, possession by possession, offense, and then defense. Don't get overwhelmed with the game. Don't get overwhelmed with the score. I think when you just break it down into smaller moments, you play that moment, and then obviously they add up to a quarter to half, and then you reassess throughout. So for me, I just relaxed. I loved the moment. I fell back on the preparation. I knew my scout. You know, I've shot for however many years, and that's where I relied on.
Well, we appreciate that beautiful insight. Specifically, Siobhan, from you, we appreciate it as always. We'll let you head back over to the commentary table. But at the moment. You can smell the popcorn popping, the drinks are flowing. So let's check down on the floor courtside with our reporter, Bob Ballard.
Drew, it's an absolute cauldron down here. As you know, you were down here about half an hour ago. It is very, very noisy. And this, of course, is what Sheffield and Oaklands are playing for. It's a trophy, the most important trophy for many people at the end of the year. Can Sheffield get it? I've just spotted, by the way, the man who looks after the Women's Bar Super League. Jim, good to see you. What does having an occasion like this mean for women's basketball?
Oh, it's a really signature event. It's one of those things that brings everybody together. We get people from outside of the sport come in. We get people, the basketball community gets together, and they celebrate women's basketball. It's fantastic.
And having the men's and the women's joined up now, we're having some sort of collaborative path. How important is that?
It's critical because 6 of the women's teams have got men's counterpart teams in there, and we've got 5 other teams who are not. So therefore, it's a mixed economy, and it means that the collaboration works really well together. We have a real interaction, and we understand what the future looks like.
And other countries are really starting to take notice now. You're getting some really quality imports, aren't you?
Very much so. There's a lot of interest in the British game, and more young women are wanting to come and play in the WBBL, in the women's basketball.
Jem, thanks for your time. I've got Kirsty Brown's going to come in from Caledonia, who actually, Kirsty, you know how to beat this team on the court. How did you manage to do it?
We just put in a lot of work throughout the season. We really focused on our scout. That's a huge thing for us. And just knowing our strengths, their weaknesses, how to exploit those, and just putting it in action when you get out on the court.
All right, so if you were the Sheffield Hatters coach today, what would you be saying about Oaklands? What is the way to win?
I think it's going to be a physical game, and I think you want to be the one who's physical first. I think that's going to be kind of the set-off point for the rest of the game. And then I think just don't put your head down if things go wrong. Teams are going to go on runs, and you have to let them do that and just get through that as a team, come out and just keep beating them.
Just talking to Jim about the standard here, how much have you seen it improve since you came?
Yeah, this is my 3rd year in the league now. It's definitely, this I would say is the season that we had the most amount of competitive games, and I think that's huge. It just shows the growth, the caliber of player that we're bringing in, the teams that are putting in that work to come out and put their best foot forward every single game. So massive growth for sure.
Enjoy the day. I'm sure we are all going to enjoy the day. Let's hear from the respective coaches. Let's start with the Sheffield Hatters and Vanessa Ellis. Vanessa, well done for making the final. What does a day like this mean for you?
Oh, it's amazing to come to the Championship playoff finals, last game of the season. What a great opportunity to take some silverware and just celebrate the team.
Won't need to remind you what happened in the cup final. What's going to be different today? What's different in the game plan, if anything?
I think the players probably had the experience of playing at a big arena before, and we can take that into this. And then just really, we've got to go out and perform and do our best. Nobody performed really last time. We've had a great lead up to it, great win over Newcastle, a lot of confidence and, ready to go as a team.
How does the playoff final differ from the regular season?
Well, it's a big event. Being at the O2's special, amazing, and it's just a special game.
What will you be telling them as they go on court today? Is there any one instruction for them?
Just be a team. Be a team. We've got to play as a team, play together, and just do what we can do.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Lee, it's getting to be a regular event, these big events. Does it still mean as much to you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we didn't dream of this when we started the season, but as soon as we got going with the team, we knew we had something special, and obviously making all 3 finals is amazing.
What about the big occasion and the big atmosphere is going to be in here? How will your players react, and will it affect them?
Well, we hope not, and we hope they're going to be ready. We saw it in the trophy final. It definitely affected them that first time Oakland's getting there, but in the cup they really managed it well, managed the atmosphere in Nottingham, so hopefully we can take a lead from that and be ready for the big stage.
You have very good head-to-head matchups with them this season. What's been the difference? Why have you had the edge?
Yeah, I think there's very little between them. Both games in the league have gone differently, so we took a lead in the first one and they managed to come back. In the other one, it was a tight affair all the way through. Obviously, we managed the cup final very well. I think there's very little between them. Both teams are deep, both teams have balanced squads, and both teams have individuals that can win games.
How different from a coaching point of view is a one-off game like this?
I think we're actually focused on just bringing our game. So the things we've been working on all the way through the season, you hope that it's like a combination of the things that you've worked on all the way through. So yeah, we know it's a one game, same as last week when it's knockout. So we know there's the jeopardy of being able to go home, but I think everyone just wants to play their best game of basketball and then see what happens.
Have a good one.
Thank you very much.
Well, if we're talking edge from that interview, I got to give it to Vanessa with that beautiful pink blazer. But it was interesting. She didn't talk anything about tactics. It was all about the experience that's going to help them this time around.
Yeah, we've touched on this a lot. I think the experience, I said that you wait quite a long time to use that experience. I think both of these teams have had disappointment. Obviously, Oakland's losing the trophy and Sheffield also losing the cup. Both of them have had moments that will sting and they would like to show out and show off here, and I think this is a really important. Vanessa obviously talking how we want to use that confidence from the semi-finals. I think that really has helped them. Also playing as a team, you know, you've been together, it's the sisterhood that you've had, you've built lovely lifelong relationships, and that needs to transfer onto the court.
And for the Oakland Wolves, if you're Lee Ryan, you're played in 3 championship games this season, what do you say to not allow your team to get too comfortable to keep that edge?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Drew. I think it's playing the moment. I think it is when things go wrong. Is it, can you high-five your teammate? Can you pat them on the butt and say, come on, girls? Well, great thing and fantastic, why I love basketball and played over 20 years is because of these moments of being able to, you know, get each other up, look each other in the eyes. Sometimes you have to hold people by the scruff of the neck and say, come on, this isn't good enough. It's ups and downs, it's waves, it's roundabouts, and you've got to manage the whole 40 minutes.
Well, I hate to do this to you quickly.
Yes.
Which one of the 2 coaches had the coaching edge?
Well, I think Vanessa, I had the privilege to be, she was my assistant coach in the Olympic Games in 2012. She has great experience. I think she'll have this kind of calm, cool moment. She's been here a fair few times. Lee, I think having all 3 finals has really helped him. So I think Vanessa has the upper hand.
Well, before we move on, let's get into the body of the players. Couple of minutes from tip. What are they feeling right now?
I think for me, I was feeling butterflies, but I never got rid of my butterflies. I feel like those are really important moments. You don't want to get too high and you don't want to get too low. You want to just enjoy the moment. I always used to have a little dance and kind of relax myself into the game, but there will be some real, you know, heart rates will be going, a little bit of stress.
Well, that is the coaches. Let's hear from 2 players that have the opportunity to steal the show from the Sheffield Hatters. It's Georgia Gill, and for Oakland's is Danielle McCrae. Bob caught up with him earlier.
Danny, the big day has arrived. How are you feeling?
Excited. Like, just playing O2 to be playing with my teammates. I don't think anyone thought that we would be here, so I'm super excited.
You remember what happened in the Cup final? Do you think the game's going to be similar today?
It's definitely going to be a good game, a tough game. Sheffield, I got a lot of respect for those players. They're a great team, but we're a great team as well, and we're going to come out and give our hardest.
What do you think will be the key matchups today?
Definitely, I think everyone on the floor. Like, I feel like our entire starting 5, our bench is very valuable. We got a lot of depth, so everyone having a key matchup, honestly.
How much does it help that you've been in this situation several times this year now?
Just the experience, like, we've been here before. We've been in front of these big crowds before. We're ready.
How do you react, you personally, to the big crowd?
Oh, I love it. I love the crowd. I'm an energy type of player. I feed off of it. So this is home right here.
Have a great one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Georgia, congratulations for making it here. How important is it you didn't do or don't do what you did in the Cup final?
Very important. We have to come out and be ready to go from the jump to be able to win today.
What's the key to this game between the 2 teams? You know each other very well now.
For us, it's matching their physicality. We need to play a lot faster than we did last time and really focus on our defence, and then hopefully offence will come.
Comes off the back of a really impressive performance against Newcastle. Do you feel there's momentum there?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I really feel like it's put us in good stead ready for this game.
And your season? I mean, how important would it be to crown the season by getting a win here for you?
I mean, this is why everybody plays. Everybody wants to come and play at this game, so it's really important that we finish out the season strong and hold up that trophy.
Finally, what's the key to this game for you winning it and not losing like last time?
Play hard for 40 minutes, play as a team and stay together.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
I love that from McCray. She loves these moments. Two players, two different styles, get their buckets in different ways, see?
Yeah, totally different. I think McCray talked about how being physical, she does love these moments. She's been playing so well. She's had those 17 points in both semi-final. There it is, thank you. But averaging those 12. For me, what I love about Georgia Gale, where she's really stepped up into this, not only as a point guard, but a leadership role. She's all-time 6th scorer in this league, so she knows how to get a bucket. She's shooting very well from the 3 as well. So 2 different styles, but both leaders on these teams.
And let's stay on Georgia. Talk about her evolution over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I love that she's a top not only scorer, but she's 5 assists a game, which is massive. So she gets her teammates involved, and that 3-point percentage is first in the league. So her release is quick. She catches it and lets it go, and that's super important. She talks about, we want to play confident, we want to hit first. I think she's going to be a big part of that.
Yeah, reminds me of Holly Winterburn's growth, really getting it done from the point guard position. Is she the best British player in the game right now?
I think so. I think she has really grown into her position. She's been around this league for so long. I've had the pleasure to play with her as well. So yeah, I think she looks pretty relaxed. She feels like and looks like she's been here, and she'll be ready.
She looked dialed in to me. If we flip over to McCray, she's that get out of a jail call. We've seen it in 2 previous finals, just the ability to hit tough shots.
Yeah, and I think this is a big moment for her. Not only can she shoot the 3, but she's so tough. I love good footwork, good finishing. She's feeling confident, having 17 points, nearly a double-double in every game. These are the players that I'm talking about. The superstars have to step up, and she's the superstar that's going to do it.
Well, I hate to do it to you again, putting the pressure on you.
Yeah.
Who you got? Oakland Wolves, 4th matchup of the season. Who you lying with right now?
Well, when they played in the Cup, it was a 14-point game. In the regular season, I think it was a 3-point game. You know what? This is really, really difficult, but I think I'm actually going to go Sheffield on this, Drew. I don't know, but I think I'm going to go Sheffield.
I think we have something in store right now. A couple of minutes, 2 minutes to be exact, before we hit the floor. Final message from the coach, both coaches, that they'll be delivering to their players.
I think playing tough. I think both coaches and Georgia Gale spoke about it hitting first. In that first quarter and also the third after halftime, those are your moments that you really want to hit. Also, you want to test out where the referees are. Are they calling it tight? Are they letting you play? So it's just kind of letting the game come to you and getting going. But for me, it's the first few moments of the game.
Absolutely. You ready?
I'm ready.
Me too. I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling a little bit of the nerves, but that's enough from us. We're going to flow over to our beautiful commentary team, Siobhan Pryor, Daniel Rowledge, who will be holding down the fort for us today.
Thank you very much, Drew. Thank you very much, Azania. You two look like you were about to get your sneakers on and run out there. Get out on court. But what a privilege it is to be here in moments like this, where history is about to be written for one of these two clubs. Oakland's trying to win the playoffs for the first time. Sheffield trying to maintain their legacy that stretches back 60 plus years in women's basketball. These are the days we live for.
Yeah, they really, really are. It's funny because I was saying to you earlier, I don't really miss playing since I've retired, but when you start to hear the music, you see everybody warming up on these big days, you do. I feel, Zian and Drew, you get those feelings, those little butterflies, and this is what it's all about. This is why you play.
But when the knee goes walking up the stairs, you realise it was the right time to hang them up. But these last few moments just before you go up, is it the thing where you look around, or you're trying to block all of that out? This is one of the great arenas of the world, to be honest with you. Is it just watch the ball, don't look at anything else, let's go?
I don't know. I think it's probably different for everyone, but they probably had those moments before, and now they're just locked into the game plan.
Starting 5 for Sheffield: Harrison Gale, Christopher Singleton and Dan Dini. They talked at the top of the show how important Georgia Gale is for this team, her leadership role as much as everything she does on the court. I feel like she's the key.
Yeah, you know, I think she is the energy of the team as well. Like, she's really, really vocal. She's a proper, you know, old school floor general. But I think one of the things, and we talked about it at the top of the show, that's going to be really important for Sheffield is that everybody that showed up for the quarterfinal and the semi-final show up today, because when they share the load, Georgia plays better, but the team plays better too.
Let's have a look at the starting lineup for Oakland's Wolves. De Silva, McGee, Pleasant, McRae, Beckford, Norton, Ashby. They've got that experience, their third final of the season. Nobody's won more trophies than Shanice Beckford Norton, by the way. And that sort of experience really helps on a stage like this.
Yeah, it does massively. And I think, you know, when we saw them in the cup final, they looked a lot more relaxed than they had in the trophy final. And I'm sure they're going to be a little bit more relaxed than they have been in the cup final. They've already got one win under their belt. And I feel like they're going to come out as a team together. We know how well they get on off the court. And it shows, that chemistry shows on the court. So as long as they can relax and play their game, and they've got some players that really like to show up to the crowd as well, like McRae, like McGee Pleasant. So it's going to be exciting.
Well, Vanessa Ellis, we saw there, none more experience than her, won 8 playoff finals as a player, another 5 as a coach, knows what it takes to get that last win of the season. And the 2 5s are out and ready to go. And we are set for the final game of the season in Women's Super League basketball. It is the top 2 from the regular season going toe-to-toe for the playoff championship. We are underway, and it is the league champions who get the first possession. Oakland's looking to go to work. Here's Ashby, fires up the 3, off the mark, and that will go out of bounds for a Sheffield ball. And it's interesting because you sort of mentioned there how Oakland's learned from that first trophy final defeat and took that into the cup final. What Sheffield can learn from their defeat in that cup final to bring here today.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Sheffield it was their time in a showpiece final for this group. Obviously we know the success of the club's history. It's not their first time in a showpiece final at all, but I think they'll be a lot more relaxed here.
Here's Gale now for 3, front iron on that one, and McGee Pleasant pulls in the rebound.
Those are the kind of actions that they need, and the recognition from Shauna that she was doubled and kicked it to Georgia. Those open shots will get knocked down.
De Silva going to work and lays it in. First points on the ball.
I think Lavinia could be key today as well. I mean, she does so much that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. She moves so well off the ball. She really dominates inside. If she can get into double digits today, that'll be good for Oakland.
Ball swings round to Gale. Crowded out of it. Shot clock getting low. Singleton needs to get this away here and ends up having it stolen by Beckford Norton. McRae trying to find a little bit of room. That one is short.
But that's her game. Like, she has such a sweet mid-range jumper. It's smart to see players. Sam Ashby shooting the 3. McRae getting to her mid-range jumper. It's smart to see them going to their go-tos to begin with.
Well, Gandini trying to force the pass in. Once again, the Wolves steal the ball away. De Silva going alone. Kicks out to the corner. And what a defensive play that is. And Singleton deflects it out of bounds for an Oakland's ball.
Yeah, Sheffield scrambling really well there in defensive transition. And Singleton just protecting the paint.
Ashby to inbound. McGee Pleasant looking to attack on the spin, back iron. Offensive board for the Wolves. Ashby had a hand in her face. Looked like a push there from De Silva on the rebound. That's the call, and that will come back to Sheffield.
It looks like on the ball screens and handoffs for Ashby that Sheffield are in drop coverage, so Sam has to be ready to come off of that mid-range jumper. I think she just hesitated a little bit there and waited for the defender to get a hand in her face, but she could have that all day long.
Here's Gale. Again, Gandini looking towards the post, but it's well defended. Singleton's going to fire up from deep off the mark. Beckford Norton coming away, struggling to hold on to the ball, but Gandini's called for the foul. But it is noticeable that Oakland seem to be taking away option 1, option 2 for Sheffield.
Yeah, I think the last couple of possessions, Sheffield haven't found the easy shot that they found in the initial possession of the game. But I think this is the thing about finals, isn't it? It's everyone comes in with a game plan, and then how do the coaches and the players react to what they see on the floor?
De Silva with the mid-range. Offensive rebound again. This time it's Ashby on the glass. She's going to fire up the 3. Got caught and hits! Sam Ashby with a potential 4-point play.
That is what you want to see if you're Oakland. Look at this, she gets the offensive rebound as well, and then just comes straight up. There's a little confusion, little hesitation on the screen coverage there between Crisper and Gale, and that time she was ready to knock it down.
Well, it's amazing how many times shooters knock down those shots when the defense makes a mistake, and it's like, oh, I got free reign here, nobody's going to be mad at me taking this shot, and they go in.
Yeah, no pressure on this one.
Here's Gandini. Again looking for some help. Out to Crisper for 3 off the mark. And, well, Sheffield not getting too many second chance looks. They've done a really good job, the Wolves, on the glass at both ends.
I was just going to say the same thing. They're one and done.
Stolen away by Gale. Gale off 1 foot, off the mark, gets not quite her own rebound, and Beckford Norton comes up with it. Now it starts to become scoreboard pressure for the Hatters, still on 0, 3.5 minutes in. Nice pass, and De Silva lays it home for 2.
And you can see the difference with Oakland is they're just in the flow of their offense. They are getting easier shots, but they're knocking them down as well.
Sheffield desperate for a score to get on the board, trailing 8-0. Gandini for 3, knocks one down. Boy, a big shot from Emma Gandini, who was knocking down 3s for fun last week.
Yep, 8 out of 9 last week.
McRae trying to reply. This time there's nobody crashing the board, so it's an easy rebound for Georgia Gale.
All of a sudden the lead just doesn't look as scary. It's just 5 points, right? But
yeah,
when it's
exactly.
a 0 at the start of a final, it feels pressurizing.
Knocked away, but Gandini keeps it. Shot clock getting low. Gale goes underneath the basket with the reverse layup, and suddenly it's a 3-point game.
Well, it's Gale and Gandini. Those are the 2 players that we knew had to show up today, and everybody else can fill in around them.
Be Pleasant creates for herself another offensive rebound. De Silva underneath takes the foul. I think it's going to be on Gale, and it will be 2 free throws. And well, it took them a long time to get going, Sheffield, but boy, they would have felt good when this one went in. And then they followed that straight back up, and as you say, they're 2 key players getting the scoreboard ticking for them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like we see Georgia here, she's just always in control of the game. She's talking to her coach, to Coach Ellis. She's talking to her teammates, and, you know, they're experienced players. They're not going to panic if they miss a couple of possessions, shots on a couple of possessions at the start.
Second free throw is good. Oakland's lead 9 points to 5 as we approach the midpoint of the opening quarter here at the O2 in the SLB playoff final. Harrison. Gale coming off the screen. Crisper is open from 19 feet, but leaves that short. Well, nobody quite grabbed that rebound initially for Oakland's.
Just a little flex offense there for Sheffield. Just a little off time, the passes and the screens.
Good pressure from Crisper out on the ball. Silva has it knocked loose, dives on the floor, and that's going to be a hell ball.
Good hustle. from Georgia again, leading with her energy first. Possession arrow is Sheffield's way as well, so she earns the ball for her team.
Well, possession arrow gives Sheffield the ball as Collier checks in for the first time. Oh, it's a sloppy pass, and Ashby collides with Gale. The referee's looking at each other. They both called a foul. It's not obvious which way they called it. And it's gone against Ashby. This is one of them where whoever gets to the ball first usually gets the benefit of the whistle.
Yeah, I think Georgia just picks her dribble up a little bit too early. She needs to dribble into that pass. Can't pass it across the zone like that.
Oh, a slip there, so Crisper can attack the rim, and it's going to be 2 quick fouls there on Ashby, who came with the help, and that is a big blow for the Wolves just 6 minutes in.
Yeah, and we'll see what Coach Lee Ryan does. I think he is going to take Ashby out, but she comes across and she's in good position, just a little bit too late though.
We restart with Nina Crisper at the line.
Well, Ashby does head to the bench. 4 points, but a couple of fouls already for Ashby. And that just impacts on the rotation. Coaches generally have a plan coming in. Just an error with the shot clock, I think, starting a little bit late. Black going to check in for the first time for Sheffield. Well, they're still trying to rectify the shot clock issue, but Coach Ryan with some thinking to do. It started perfectly. His team was 8-0 up. It's a 7-1 run since, and Ashby on 2 fouls.
Yeah, you know, I think as a coach, you have a plan A and you have a plan B, C, D. So he'll be, you know, talking to his team, talking to his assistant coaches, just looking at the matchups that he has on the floor, the combinations that he has on the floor, and I'm sure he's got many different combinations in mind.
McRae driving to the rim. Again, look at the offensive rebounding from the Wolves. They're just pounding the glass here in the early stages. 5 offensive rebounds already. DAZN has to heave that up on the shot clock. Buzzer knocks it down.
Really pleased with Beth DAZN, one player that's been at Oakland since the start. She'll be happy to see that go down.
Trying to force her way to the rim. The foul. The shot is missed, and McRae at the other end able to lay it in.
What a pass from Beckford Norton. And these are the little things, right? Transition layups, offensive rebounds. When you're struggling a little bit on offense, you have to do the little things to help you to get the scoreboard ticking over.
Collier. Back to Crisper, and she is caught on the shot and will go to the line once again.
She's a really crafty player. Crisper, second foul. She's drawn when shooting. She's just a smart player, and she takes advantage of what's in front of her and what the defense allow her to have.
Georgia Gill comes out, Destiny Walker in for the Hatters.
Dottir Frost into the game for the first time. One of the young rising stars of British basketball. I know with your eye on all things youth women's basketball, you'll be pleased to see that.
Yeah, I coached against her once this year in a WEABL playoffs, and she absolutely killed us. We had a game plan and everything. We were face guarding her, throwing different defenders at her, but she was just in her bag. She's a really skilled player.
Well, as Mike Tyson once said, everybody has a game plan until you get punched in the face.
We hit multiple blows by Bo.
Here she is, trying to feed the ball inside. Great pass, and one. The basket is good for McRae. She'll go to the line for an extra free throw.
And I think you just see that she's just older than her years. She fumbles it initially, if you see. She doesn't panic, no look pass to the cutting McRae. She really is she's a calm player. She's played some minutes with GB senior team as well. I know she's going into camp with them too. So yeah, really exciting to see what she brings in the future.
Well, the first timeout of the game has been called by the Sheffield Sharks and Sheffield Hatters. Am I going there? Because suddenly it's got back out to 7, having got their feet and got some momentum.
Yeah, and this is what a final should be, right? It should be back and forth, and it should, for a coach, it should be an exciting time as well, where you have to be thinking on your feet all the time. What solutions can I bring? What do I need to make sure my players know? What can they fix on the fly? What do I need to help them fix in a timeout? So just a really good example of what showpiece final basketball should look like.
Well, and the other thing is when not to call a timeout.
Right.
I mean, she could easily have called one 4 minutes into the game when you're 8-0 down, but left the players to work it out.
Yeah.
Now that it's gone a little off the rails in the last minute or two, now's the time to use it.
Yeah, and I think, for Vanessa, that'll just come naturally. She's played in so many of these finals. She's coached in so many of them as well. She's not going to panic early, and she trusts her team. Her team have been playing well. She knows they're going to find the bottom of the net at some point. So it's good sometimes to leave the players out there to fix it for themselves.
Well, a 20th final for her. As a coach, she had 23 as a player, so knows what the big stage is all about, that's for sure. Here's Walker. A little touch foul there.
Yeah, smart to reject the screen. So Frost, she doesn't change her angle, doesn't change her hips to push her into the screen, and she takes advantage of that.
Gandini to inbound. There was an errant horn there. Just wondering, actually, it was the 5th foul of the quarter.
I was going to say, yeah, I think
so
that was
it should
their
be 2
team
free
foul.
throws. We're just getting that confirmed as to whether it was the 4th or the 5th of the quarter. It initially said 4 on the big scoreboard, but it has been changed to 5. I think Vanessa there saying, I've got to referee this as well and do the table, keep a check on everything.
She's having a little laugh there with the referees. It must be nerve-wracking for a referee when you know how on it a coach is with every single element of the game.
Beckford Norton for the Wolves, leading the final here after 7.5 minutes. Sort of Frost fires up the 3 and banks it in.
So great to see her playing with so much confidence on a big stage like this.
A nice slow down there on the step for Walker, but doesn't go. McRae trying to push it the other way. Had a pocket picked, but it's thrown straight to Beckford Norton, who just couldn't quite hang on to it. It will go out of bounds for a Sheffield ball. And as you said, the confidence of youth, just a little glance, step away, bank 3.
And it's really important as well for Coach Lee Ryan that he has a player that can go on no matter their age and give minutes when people like Sam Ashby are in foul trouble and are on the bench. It's really, really important that the bench players come in and step up and they continue to build the lead without their star players on the floor.
Well, in some ways, that was what we were talking about with this Wolves team early in the season, how it was quite hard to pick out who the key player was, who the superstar was, because seemed like every game it was a different player leading the way.
Yeah, and I think they've spoken so much throughout the season about sharing the load, and again we talk about it, but the chemistry they have as a team, and I think that's the way they've decided to play. No one player cares who shines in what moment as long as they get the job done and they win.
Back underway, here's Destiny Walker.
Back underway here, Sheffield trailing by 10 with the ball.
Singleton into Shauna Harrison, leaving the ball to Zia Black.
Three-pointer is off the mark from Black, but it's finally an offensive rebound for the Hatters, but they can't get any second chance points out of it.
I think they're really struggling to hit these open shots. They're getting good shots, they're just not knocking them down. It's a little bit like what we saw in the Cup final.
Dawson back to Rafferty. 6 on the shot clock. Beckford Norton has it pulled away, but illegally so. That'll be 2 free throws.
Yeah, and that's just not smart. Like, you have the space, she's going up in the air, she's not sure what she's doing with the ball. Don't bail her out like that. You know, you're in position, just 2 hands in the air.
Well, Shanice Beckford Norton has dominated silverware in recent years. Obviously on that all-conquering London Lions team, now moves to Oaklands and is potentially eyeing a 3rd winner's medal of the season.
The winning just follows her wherever she goes, right? I think, you know, she's just such an experienced player, but I think she's a real professional too. She does what her team needs her to do in the moment, and she's happy to take on any job that the coach and the team give to her in order to help her team to win, and she's done that no matter where she's been.
Well, she overtook Holly Winterburn as the most decorated player in the WBBL SLB era. Here's a 3 fired up on the shot clock buzzer. It's out of bounds for Oakland's ball. 20 points to 9. Oakland's with the lead.
Here's Mickey Pleasant. Finds Beth Sarson.
Rafferty.
Abigail Rafferty takes over.
Here's Frost. Around the screen, a little hesitation to get some space for Battle and can't lay it in. Real melee for the rebound. Hell ball is called. Possession arrow will give it back to the Wolves.
I'd just like to see a little bit more pressure on the ball from Sheffield, especially coming off of these ball screens. Chloe has a lot of time there. She takes a decision dribble and then she's still able to look around and see what choice she wants to make.
Well, Gale back into the game. She's on 2 fouls as well. So a little risk with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. And that's going to be foul number 3, is it, on Gale from behind. It is her number shown to the table. I just barely got the words out that it's a little bit of a risk with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Boy, it's not paid off because that is foul number 3, and down to the bench she goes.
Really tough one, isn't it? Because I think, you know, as a player of her experience, you expect that she can manage those moments, but just sometimes in the game, things happen. Unfortunately, she's picked up that 3rd.
Well, you wonder whether we will see her again in this half. I suspect that will be scoreboard related. If it gets too far away, then you've got to put her back out there because you're not saving her for the second half if you're down 20.
Well, exactly. And I think they're struggling again with shooting the ball from 3, and she's one of the ones that she leads the league in 3-point percentage at 45, but just 16% right now, Sheffield, from 3. And from your extensive research last night, we know that when they shoot below 36%, they're more likely to lose. 36% and above, they're 10-1 this season. So
I'd have left you keep that stat yourself. You didn't have to Give it to me. Nice work. There's some second chance points for the Hatters. The first second chance points of the game for them as Collier gets it away and Battle leaves the 3 on the buzzer short. Well, Sheffield started slow. They had a little spurt midway through the quarter, but they are down 10 here at the end of the opening quarter, and with George Gale in foul trouble. So a lot of work for Vanessa Ellis and her team to think about here in the first quarter break. But from Oakland's point of view, that was as good an opening 10 minutes as they could have hoped for.
Yeah, I mean, here are the numbers. I think they shot the ball a lot better. They just look a little bit more relaxed. They're getting themselves open looks, but they're rebounding the ball so well as well offensively, getting themselves second chance points. So I think they're doing the little things that it takes to win a major final right now, and Sheffield have to find a way to stop that from happening.
Well, as we look back on some of the most picturesque plays of the first quarter, the problem Sheffield have had is you've got to put the ball in the basket. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether it's a final or a preseason friendly. If you're going to shoot down in the 20s percentage-wise, if you're going to shoot 1 for 6 from 3, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Yeah, and I think, we talked about it at the top of the show. One of the things that they've really lent on in the last 2 games, the quarterfinal and the semi-final, is that they've had people scoring the ball. In the quarterfinal, they had 6 people in double digits. Gandini had 14, Washington 11, Collier 13, Crisper 15, Shauna Harrison 12. They have to get back to that. They've got to share the load a little bit more like Oaklands are doing, but it's a little bit of an age-old thing, isn't it? When the ball's not going in, your shot feels so much more pressured, and then we saw it when Gandini hit that 3 and the pressure was released a little bit. Then players were able to just flow freely into their shots a little bit more. So they've got to find a way. Someone's got to give them a spark, and then everybody's got to get involved.
Well, it is obviously different shooting at County Medical Arena than it is here. As a shooter, what was your take on playing in venues like this?
Yeah, I think it is different, isn't it? But it's a ball and a basket at the end of the day, and I think the other team are playing in the same arena. But I think it's just things like the depth perception, but you get used to that in warm-ups. And I think the biggest thing for me was if I can't knock down a 3, I need to get an easy one for myself first, and then get myself back out to the long range.
Get an easy one, then shoot another 3.
And then just jack it up as soon as I'm open. I didn't often need the steadying 2s.
No. Well, Sheffield could do with some steadying 2s right now, that's for sure. Here's Gandini trying to find some room. They're running out of clock here. It's deflected away. It will stay with the Hatters, but there's only 1.8 seconds on the shot clock.
They're running a lot of action away from the ball, ball screens, off ball screens, sorry. I just feel that things aren't clicking. They're not waiting for screens. They're not sprinting into the actions. It's just the timing's just a little bit off.
Well, they didn't have time really for that pass back, or there's a whistle there. I don't think she was back in court, was she? She touched the ball. It's going to be an Oakland's ball anyway. It was a turnover waiting to happen, that's for sure.
Coach Ellis not happy.
I think Gandini was meant to shoot that.
Yeah, you have to take that responsibility, especially when the shot clock's winding down.
Here's Sarson driving, turns the ball over. Harrison in the open court, driving to the rim, is fouled and will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, Shauna Harrison, what a player she's been. She won Most Improved Player of the League this year. Such a shifty player, just an absolute baller. She finds the gaps, draws the foul. We haven't talked a lot about her, but she's Sheffield born and bred. She played through the junior program before going to the States, and she's just been a constant for them. When they struggled in the cup final back in March, she was the only player along with Gail in double digits. She had 11 as well, so she's not frightened of the moment.
Well, as you know well yourself, when you come through the club, it kind of means a little bit more when you're out there in a final.
Yeah, you know, it really, really does. I think all of my teammates throughout the years, they cared about winning, but it is different when it's a club that you've grown up in and maybe you've seen generations before you win or lose a final. You've been there watching, and yeah, you just want it so much more for everybody other than yourself, really.
Foul quarters to Silva. Tried to find some room. Washington, the offender. Rafferty to inbound. Oh, that's not a great pass. It's deflected away by Gandini. Beckford Norton chases back, but the shot clock is ticking quickly here. Offensive foul called on the illegal screen by Rafferty.
That's who Gandini is, you know. I think when people are asking who is she as a player, that is who she is. She gets tipped, she's chasing the ball down, even though she knows that Shanice is going to get to it first. Pressuring the ball all the way up the floor and selling the foul on the ball screen. Just such effort from her.
Harrison kicks it back out. Walker trying to thread the needle with the pass. Washington, cross court, shot clock down to 5 as Harrison fires it up, doesn't hit the ring. So Sheffield need to get the ball up, it's too late. That will be a shot clock violation, and back to Oaklands.
Yeah, and again, it was a good find to find Shauna on the three-point line, but the pass was just a little off. It's those small margins, the timing, being on target with your passes.
Beckford Norton. McRae, a little stop and go, and drops it in for 2.
And that's just demoralising, isn't it? You can tell that Sheffield have really started to ramp up the pressure defensively. They're putting so much more effort in. But McRae, she just handles the pressure so well.
Gandini fires up, rebound to Silva. McRae, corner 3 doesn't go. Again, offensive rebounding. Rafferty puts it back up. De Silva gets it too. He's done a great job on the glass. 9 offensive rebounds already for the Wolves. Nice pass. Oh, what a bucket that is for the Wolves.
Yeah, and I think the thing is they're converting on it as well. They've got 7 second chance points already.
Well, you think you take those 7 away, it's a 5-point game.
Yeah, so important.
Gandini. Walker fires up the 3. There's a foul on the rebound. I think it might have been Rafferty with a hold.
Much better offense though, and the timing of that was right, and force the defense into making a choice, and then they get a wide open 3. They just can't seem to knock them down right now. 1 of 7 from 3 at the moment for the Hatters.
Hatters ball from the end. Pass just about gets to Gandini. Harrison, again trying to make things happen for herself, but that one's off the mark. Oh, Harrison steals it right back. 2 on 1. Ooh, that's a hard foul right there. And that's going to be a 3rd foul on Ashby as well. So both teams with a key player on the bench with 3 fouls.
I think, you know, if you're Ashby, you just can't make that play. You know, you're in a 2-on-1 situation. You're trying to make them overpass it until, you know, the rest of your defenders come back. But it's an emergency situation. You're at a disadvantage. You just have to do your best. And often in those situations, your best isn't good enough because they have more players than you do. So, you know, you just have to let them win that one.
The other thing is you're up 12 in the second quarter, so if it cuts to 10, it's not the end of the world. It's not like it's the last minute and it's a 1-point game.
Well, and better that it cuts to 10 and you're still on the floor.
Yep. Well, nothing doing on the free throw line, but they did get an offensive rebound and they might get it back again as McRae can't quite keep that in play. It's a Sheffield ball. Well, she seems to be pulling all the levers. Vanessa Ellis on the sidelines, trying to get her team going offensively. They're averaging a point a minute at the moment, and that's not enough. Harrison, step away 3. Still, they can't get those triples to drop. 1 for 10. McGee Pleasant. Around to De Silva. Fakes the handoff. Takes it herself, but what a great defensive play. Ooh, that looked like it hurt, by the way, as De Silva fell. Oh, that doesn't look great.
She's rolled her ankle. Might just be a little tweak. She's asking to come back up. I think, you know, faking the handoff, and there was no movement on the weak side for De Silva. That's what she's looking for, really. It's not really her game to sort of break people down from the perimeter and get to the rim and score. She's looking for that movement that she gives other people so willingly.
Well, Singleton got back to her feet, but was hobbling a little bit as she made her way to the bench. Timeout, it's called here in London, with Oaklands leading Sheffield 25 points to 13, and it's the 13 that's the problem. You can live with giving up 25 points in 14 minutes. It's tough to live scoring only 13 in the quarter. Well, I mentioned the Sheffield Sharks earlier, Atiba Lyons and Marko Bakovic in the house, the coach and assistant coach alongside Sarah Bakovic, Yuri Matishin from the Sharks organization as well in town tonight. They would have liked to have been out there themselves. They were so close to reaching the final, but they're here to support the Hatters nonetheless.
Yeah, of course. I think before you said that, the camera was on Dan Clark, who's the GM of Surrey, and I think probably he snapped into SLB men mode.
Is. Yeah. Although he sat next to his dad, Mark Clark, one
He's
of
on
the
board of the women's as well.
Legendary coaches in women's basketball.
Trying to throw you an out here, Dan.
Thank you. I'm still swinging and missing, unfortunately. Well, Singleton is okay to continue on and knocks down the free throw. That is 7 points from the free throw line, so half of their offense has come from the stripe.
Yeah.
2 for 2 from Tyus Singleton.
They're just struggling to get anything out of the flow of their offense, really, and they're not really rebounding the ball too well. 21 rebounds for Oakland, just 13 for Sheffield, so like one and done for Sheffield every time down the floor.
Which, when you've missed 17 shots, is not really going to help you along the way. Foul is called on the floor, so it'll be a sideline ball. Nina Crisper, the offender.
And another good cut from De Silva. That's what we were just talking about. She puts so much pressure on the defense all the time because she's just constantly moving and hitting gaps, recognizing when her defender's looking at the ball, not looking at her.
De Silva splashes the three.
Nice to see that in her bag.
Doesn't take a lot of threes, but knocks it down at a decent clip. Gandini off the mark for 3. Crisper gets the rebound, but travels with it.
Has been called.
Well, De Silva sneaking out to the three-point line and knocking it down.
That's her 13th of the season.
But at 38%, maybe she could let 1 or 2 more fly.
De Silva back to Bo Frost.
Frost off the back iron.
Destiny Walker with the rebound. Finds Shauna Harrison.
Here's Harrison. Drives, kicks it back. Fortunately, Walker was close enough to that to keep possession. Good hands from McRae to knock it loose. And she's going to get called for the foul in the process.
I think Gandini coming off of these actions when she's got the ball in her hand. She has taller matchups on her all the time, and I think she's got to, just try and wrap that pass around or a little pocket pass. You just can't go over the top.
Well, foul's a little bit of an issue here for Oaklands. Obviously, Ashby on the bench with 3, but De Silva, Rafferty, McRae, Battle all have 2, with still 5 minutes to go to half-time.
It's been a little bitty. The refs have called it quite tight. And I think that definitely plays more into the hands of Oaklands. Sheffield is such a physical team, and it's something that they've, historically done better than most teams.
Beckford Norton calling the play. Here's McRae. Sarson. De Silva. McRae on the fall away. Didn't quite have the round. I think she thought the clock was a touch lower than it was. Maybe had a second or so more to get herself some balance.
Again, another good defensive possession from Sheffield. You can see off the ball, they're just making people catch the ball a little bit further outside of where they want to, just disrupting the offense a little bit.
Back to Walker.
Walker. There's another foul. McRae now called for what will be her 3rd foul. And that little bit of foul trouble is really starting to become more substantial. So that's 2 key players on the bench on 3 fouls for the Wolves.
I mean, it's only my opinion, but in the key, you've got to let people bang around a bit. It's a final. It's a playoff final. We don't want to see, as fans, 2 of the best players on the team sitting on the bench for ticky-tacky fouls.
Just trying to remember you banging about in the key in your career.
Banging about on the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Shanice Beckford Norton.
Here's McGee Pleasant. Out to Sarson. Beckford Norton now. Rafferty offers the screen, but then backs away. Beckford Norton's going to fire up the 3. Trying to draw a foul in the process. Nothing doing, but it's stolen away by Rafferty. Straight to McGee Pleasant for 2.
Yeah, and I think Sheffield, they have to take advantage while Ashby and McRae are off the floor, and you just can't turn the ball over on an outlet pass like that.
Crisper, top of the key. They just can't buy a bucket. Still only 3 made field goals for Sheffield. Oh, Sarson was thinking a foul was coming her way, but nothing doing. She misses the layup, and it'll go back to Sheffield.
You almost get another offensive rebound on that play as well.
Well, 9 seasons in the top flight for Beth Sarson. 7 of them with the Wolves. Had a couple of years away, but kept coming back.
Emma Cantini.
I think it's really important for, the teams that we've seen do well in British basketball competition for the women have had experienced British players on their roster, and I think it's a really important part of the game.
Nice finish there from Walker. They've got to get back quick here, Sheffield. So Oakland's looking to attack quickly, and they didn't quite get into position, which allowed McGee Pleasant to take advantage of a mismatch.
McGee Pleasant really taking the load a little bit here. She had a great cup final for them as well.
Nice step through there from Singleton. Well, Sheffield, as we have a look back at the foul, have 11 of their 20 points from the free throw line. Just 4 of 23 from the floor. They've missed 5 free throws as well.
This one is good.
They just got to find a way to try and chip into this, as you say. 2:45. They've got 2 key players in the Wolves on the bench.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a sloppy turnover here, and there's another 2. Well, that is a perfect play for Sheffield. A chance to turn it into 3 points.
Yeah, and like you said, I think this is a really crucial time for Sheffield. And I think Coach Ryan's going to want to talk this over with his team. He has to find a way to settle the ship when 2 of his best players are on the bench.
I almost wonder whether you would roll the dice with Gale here, down 8, thinking, well, they're not going to take a risk. Have we got a chance to win these minutes and suddenly get it to a couple of points for halftime?
I feel if she was on 2, I would do it. But
it wouldn't be rolling the dice if she was on 2.
No,
that's what I'm saying. It's gambling.
In my coaching book,
yeah.
I'm a safety first coach.
Yeah.
No risks here. No, but I think it's hard, isn't it? Because you trusted her the first time, and she got a little bit of a silly foul underneath the rim. So do you do that again, or do you look at that as a coach and think, you know, maybe in the moment she's sort of in the higher arousal area of her performance mindset?
Because the other thing about it is she's not been in the game for the whole of the second quarter.
Yeah.
By the time, if she doesn't come in now, and I'm assuming she won't, but if by the time she gets back into the game at the start of the third quarter, in real time, like 40 minutes will have passed.
It's tough. It is, but I mean, I wouldn't risk it. I'm not a gambler. I'm not going to roll those dice.
I guess it's that thing. There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, of course.
Whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing to do, and it's entirely outcomes based. They might win these 243 with her on the bench, and then she's good to go for the second half.
Much more fun standing up here and judging everyone for the decisions than taking the decisions ourselves.
I think most coaches wouldn't do it, by the way. I'd still throw it out there. Another offensive rebound, and Harrison to the rim. They've got it back, Sheffield, but this has suddenly become a really big play for them. They got the free throws, then the turnover on the inbound, got 2. Now have got the ball back again.
An energy team, and I think, you know, they talked about their defense leads their offense, and that's what they're showing right now.
Well, the Wolves having to play a lot of defense at the minute because they can't seemingly force the ball away. That's another foul, and it's going to be 2 more free throws.
I think that
is
again.
Battle now on 3 fouls, so they are in all sorts of foul trouble. The Wolves. De Silva's on 3, Rafferty's on 3, McRae's on 3, Battle's on 3, and Ashby is on 3.
Really, there was no danger because Gandini was struggling with the switch there. That she had a couple of people wide open under the rim, but she just couldn't see over the top.
That one rattles about. Well, the Wolves are going to do well to get to halftime with nobody on 4 fouls at this rate.
I think as a player, though, your sort of IQ has to click in. You have to see how the game is being played, and you've got to adjust.
Well, it's being tilted back towards the Hatters right now. They've got it down to 6. They were in a massive hole, down 13 at one stage, and they can trim a few more points out of it now.
And now all of a sudden Oakland start to tighten up on the shots a little bit because the momentum's not going their way.
Here's Singleton. Battle on 3 fouls, can't do much defensively, and it's suddenly down to 4.
And really smart from Gandini to recognise that and to get the ball inside.
Oh, what a block from Singleton. Hatters turning the screw. Never mind getting to a couple of points. They're trying to get the lead for halftime. Walker drives to the rim. It's a 2-point game.
Really riding the wave. Oakland really need to find something here, a good score, and I think Shanice's doing a good job of slowing it down, calling a play, trying to get something that they want.
Beckford Norton off the mark. Rafferty trying to get the rebound, but the Hatters have it back and can draw the scores level. 19-11, the score in this quarter. Here's Collier. Nice little crossover to the rim, just can't quite finish, trying to get her own rebound. It's still in there, and I think Collier was out of bounds as she touched it, so it will be a Wolves ball.
Just a little frantic right now, and that's playing into the hands of Sheffield. I think Beckford Norton did the right thing of trying to slow it down a little bit there. Oaklands have got to find a way to put the ball in the basket here. Just over 30 seconds to play.
Sarson out to McGee Pleasant, taking it hard to the rim, can't finish. Sheffield come down with it again. It's about a 5-second deal. Oh, that's an ambitious pass. Oh, but it's reached Collier lays it in, and the scores are tied at 32 from 13 down. Sheffield have come all the way back.
And so nice to see Georgia Gale, who's struggled today so far in foul trouble. She is leading the energy on the bench.
Sarson, as time ticks down on the second quarter. McGee Pleasant, she's not going to get the shot away. What an unbelievable turnaround that was for the Sheffield Hatters. They were double figures down. They'd only scored 11 points in the first quarter. They had their best player on the bench in foul trouble, but it all flipped in the second quarter, and it is the Wolves who are in a little bit of dysfunction here with all the foul trouble that they've got, and Sheffield tying the scores at 32 apiece.
I mean, yeah, they turned the tide completely, but I think, you know, having Ashby and McRae out, it's big. So we'll see what happens in the second half.
Let's get some reaction. Danny McRae is with Bob.
Danny, how physical is it out there?
Very. I gotta hope that the refs match it and call the game fairly. Yeah.
What about the foul trouble? You've got, what, 5 players now on 3?
Just gotta feel for the game, you know. If the official's not letting us play, then I gotta, you know, not be as aggressive when I'm playing defense.
Enjoy the second half.
Thank you.
I think you could read between the lines on that one. Let's have a look at the numbers here. And funnily enough, Sheffield's 28% is actually pretty good from where they were at one stage. They haven't been able to really connect from the three-point line. They hit one early and none since then, but they've got to the free throw line. That foul trouble has been good for them because they've got 15 points from the line.
And I think a really big stat as well, look how the rebounding battles changed. They're just one behind. They were double-digit rebounds behind Oakland just midway through the second quarter. So that's something that they really did a good job on. They made sure that every time Oakland is on offense that they're one and done. And I think with McRae out as well, that makes a big difference for Oakland's on the offensive glass. But I think that's been a big difference, and I think they've just turned up the energy on defense a little bit too.
Well, it's been some half here at the O2. Swing one way and then back the other. Let's throw it back to the studio as Zanio is with Drew.
Well, thanks, Dan. Wow, Z, me and you sitting there in the first quarter like, here we go again.
Yeah.
What changed in those last 3 minutes for the Hatters?
Well, I just think, first of all, there's a little bit of disappointment when your leader, Gail, has 3 fouls. That really changed it up. I thought, you know, McRae talked about the referees. I said that at the start of the game. You've got to react. Is it going to be a physical game? Is it going to be, you know, touch, quick fouls? You've got to adjust throughout the game. First of all, Oakland's came out fantastic. It was 21-11, and I was a bit afraid because I was thinking, God, is this going to be a blowout? But then Sheffield come back and punch back, and they scored 21-11 in that second. Obviously a tied game, but what a fantastic first half. I love the reaction from the Sheffield Hatters.
Yeah, and I asked you about, did the Hatters have the firepower to fight themselves back in it? Well, you didn't think they would, shooting 1 from 11 from the three-point line.
Yeah, it's been really, you know, when you're struggling from the three, get into the paint. I thought there's Gandini with that 3-point that they've hit, getting some and one plays. What I said, basketball is about momentum, and right there, Sheffield getting a really lovely momentum hit. The crowd got into it, and now they find themselves tied up. They were down a lot. At one point, I think 13 was the biggest lead, and what an exciting half. That's what I wanted. I was a bit afraid this could be a kind of an ugly game.
Yeah, well, if you're missing missing shots. How about get to the free throw line? 21 attempts there in the first half. And interesting enough, at the top, you talked about how the experience pays off here. Oakland's 4 players with 3 fouls in the first half. That's concerning.
Yeah, and that's really difficult, right? Because I think it knocks you out of rhythm. You can't be as aggressive. McRae just said, you know, I can't be. And that's what they live off, their aggression on defense, and then that sets and triggers off their transition offense. When you've got 3 fouls, I think it really takes, you know, you're afraid, and you've seen Sheffield attack them because they don't want to pick up a 4th.
Well, for the Hatters, they have all the momentum. Georgia Gales coming back in the second half, can play freely. However, do you think for the Wolves, do they have to change the way they play with 4 players in foul trouble? What do you see happening?
Yeah, I think you do have to. I did see that they changed up. Coach Lee put them in a zone and a man-to-man. You'll probably see that on defense again, changing up different strategies.
Well, we'll have a short break, but before then, let's hear how BIFA has been working with the SLB and the clubs to help create more opportunities for the next generation of basketball stars with a new junior tournament, the BIFA Slam Dunk, a new and exciting 3-on-3 format that will be running throughout next season, culminating with a fantastic once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the top junior teams to play at the 2026 playoff final.
So BIFA, what they're trying to do is spread the wealth and spread the knowledge of basketball around. It's a great outlet for the kids, and it's a great sport for everybody to be involved with.
Wow. I'm really excited about this partnership because I think it's going to open a lot more doors for young people who want to play basketball.
I love most that it's a team sport.
I really like shooting, and you make like a load of friends in the academy.
Enjoy it with friends so I can create bonds and they can last a lifetime. I recycle anything I can recycle.
Plastic bottles and cardboard.
Cardboard, plastic bottles, tin can.
Clothes, shoes, plastic bottles.
It's just everything.
Instead of throwing your water bottle away in the trash can and throwing this away in the trash can, you're doing it in the right place. You're composting, you're recycling, you're reducing, reusing. And it's just super important to learn that from a young age because you carry that into your adult life.
I look forward to seeing how they can bring more opportunities for young women who want to play the sport and any young player who wants to play.
Having gone to the States, where it's such a big sporting culture for universities to be on TV, Loughborough really is like up there with some of the universities in the States. So I think it just kind of outshadows everything other universities have in England.
I would say our support system is great. We have a head coach, but we also have assistant coaches who can step in. We have a strength and conditioning coach, a nutritionist, psychologist. The facilities, especially with strength and conditioning, is one you're not going to find anything better at another school. Playing for Bucks and for the professional riders team, it's a difference, but it's been great. The Bucks days are just fun. It reminds me of where everyone's in the gym just enjoying basketball. You have so many students there watching, and it's a different kind of atmosphere than we get maybe on the weekends with the professional team.
There's so many more universities that kind of put you on a pedestal when you wear that purple. There's nothing quite like seeing maybe other teams' faces when, you know, Loughborough rocking. So yeah, no, it is pretty cool to be a part of a legacy like that.
You should choose Loughborough because you'll get the academic side of things as well as a great basketball program. You're going to build as a person in your sport, but more importantly in the real world once everything's done with.
Where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.
Welcome back to the London O2 Arena, where we are all equal here. We got a great 20 minutes in store, but Z, we talked about awards for the season. It's Danny Williams in Manchester walking away with the big-time award, MVP.
Yeah, she was incredible, but it was the double-doubles for me, averaging a double-double. She came in and just was dominant, and, you know, obviously from the States, but she really was a big force for Manchester. I thought they played a fantastic season. They managed, you know, just lucked out there in the quarters and into the semis. So really, really good from her. Congratulations, and that's massive for her going on to the next season.
Yes, it looks very good on that resume. Well, earlier we got an opportunity to catch up with her, so let's hear from the MVP.
Just honored, thankful, blessed. You know, it takes a team effort for an award like this. It's not just me. It's credit to our organization, the coaches, and especially my teammates, you know. So just thankful for the award. I knew what we were coming into is a new kind of organization. So we were going to have bumps along the way, and we've definitely been tested. We've had a lot of changes throughout the year, but I'm always going to come in, compete, give my best. And I expect, you know, with the girls around, we did the same. You know, it was a grind, but everybody gave their best effort. And at the end of the day, you can hang your hat on that and be proud that you gave your best effort. We're resilient. You look and you see how much behind the scenes things we've had to manage and go through. And for us to even get into the playoffs, you know, for them, it's a big thing. And so we just kept grinding. You know, when we played Oakland a couple weeks ago, you know, in the preseason we beat them. We had some lows throughout the season, but we were down 14 going into the third quarter, and it just, you know, it literally took every one of our players to get that win. You know, they're number one for a reason. So for us to beat them, I think it gave us a lot of confidence. You know, it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but it was just a team effort. You know, everybody felt good after that win.
Obviously won awards before. Where are you going to keep this award?
I'll probably put it in a little shadow box and put it in my room. You know, a lot of memories and mementos like that throughout college, my overseas career. I just like to hang on to them, and, you know, basketball, it'll stop someday, but having these memories, awards and moments is something I can cherish for a long time.
Well, congratulations on a very prestigious award, but let's flip over to the coach. When you think of the result, shocking when you think of the circumstances, but not for the results. Chloe Gaynor from the Newcastle Eagles.
Yeah, super proud of her. Obviously, was a player and now a coach. She comes into that role mid-season, so a huge amount of congratulations, because you're coming into half a season and then having to, you know, learn on the fly, and then to be rewarded with Coach of the Year. Outstanding. Really proud of her.
Very difficult circumstances. Well, our SLB cameras were in Newcastle early in the week to speak to Chloe, who, by the way, had no idea she had won the award. So let's see how she found out.
So Chloe doesn't know yet, but she's just won Coach of the Year, so we're going to go and surprise
the
her.
entire team and making sure that they feel prepared as the players and staff for the game ahead. And so I think the adjustments really from being a player to being the coach is to make sure that we are, like, basically...
Guess what?
What?
You won Coach of the Year, dog.
Thanks. So that means that we're the team of the year, yeah? Because if we were a team, no? Thanks. I don't do compliments. Thanks. Good job, guys. Good job, guys. I guess you guys were all right as well. Yeah. No. Good job. Good work, team. Thanks.
Wow, what a moment. I'm not crying. You are.
No, amazing. You know, like I said, just a beautiful thing for her, and also moving on to next season.
Yeah, I caught up with Chloe a couple of days ago, and she was really shocked by the award, but at the same time, very appreciative. But let's get back over to the game where we have a 20 minutes in store for you. What are the adjustments you see from the coaches?
Yeah, McRae, you know, I think is going to be big here with 9 points. And we've picked her up at the start of the show, you know, and I think she's showed up. She's obviously got those foul troubles, so she's going to have to maybe pull back a little bit. But for me, you've got to be aggressive. What works for you here? She's lovely, down low, finishing. And, you know, she's here for the final. She says she loves these moments. The lights are bright, and she's turned up, and she's leading all scorers.
Yeah, McRae with 9 points, De Silva with 8. And when you look at the first 17 minutes, it's hard to say because they dominated. But who else you want to see step up for the Wolves?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, Shanice Beckford-Norton, I think, is doing really well, kind of controlling the pace because the ball is in her hands a lot. I just think they need to settle in. I think they just, you know, got rattled there, but I love that Sheffield pushed, tied this up. This is we're starting from the beginning, right? It's a 0-0 halftime, and we'll see who lifts and is the queen of the SLB.
Well, there it is, Lee Ryan delivering his final message to his team. But in the meantime, we will throw back over to your comms team with Daniel Rowledge and Siobhan Pryor.
Thank you very much, Drew. Yeah, what a game this is. It's really fascinatingly poised because, as Drew said, for 17 minutes, it looked like Oaklands were completely in control of the game. They lost the last 3 minutes. The scores are level, and they're in all sorts of foul trouble.
Yeah, and I think now, like they said, it is a reset, right? I think it was a 12-0 Sheffield run at the end of that half. Oaklands don't score for the last 3 minutes. I think, does that do something to your mindset? I'm not sure, because I think what they will be thinking is that, you know, Sam Ashby, she's only taken 3 shots. And McRae, she played well while she was on, but they were off during that 3-minute spell where Sheffield just really dominated offensively and defensively. So I think, you know, in your mindset, you've got that little bit of an excuse there as a team, and I think they'll be ready to reset with these 2 players out back on the floor now at the start of the third.
I guess it's also of, do we have to change the way that we're playing? Because you've got twice as many fouls as the other team, so you're obviously doing something different to them. And when Sheffield couldn't score, they at least got to the free throw line.
Yeah, I think, you know, you just have to adjust. I think Z talked about it well. As a player, that, you know, playing in finals, you have to play with your head as well as your heart, and sometimes that can be difficult because you want to win so badly, and, you know, the moment's a big moment, but they just have to take a deep breath on the defensive end, have to play defense, pressure defense without fouling as well, and which they're more than capable of. We've seen that throughout the season. So, you know, just a deep breath really, and a little bit more discipline from them here in the second half.
Well, I think there might have been a spillage or something on the court. They're looking at the floor, trying to wipe something up off it, are they? Or it looks actually more intrusive than that. So hopefully they'll be able to sort that one out. We can get things back underway.
Looks like something's stuck.
Well, it looks like they're asking Vanessa what to do there. She's done everything else.
She knows everything else.
But a slight delay to the start of the second half as a result of that. And again, it's when we talk about trying to make the day a bit more normal, you sort of get longer breaks and all of this. They just want to get back out and get underway.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about mindset, didn't we? It kind of disrupts the rhythm of your mind when you're coming out from the locker room. You know, if I was a coach, I'd be a little bit annoyed because I've got my team to a point where they're ready to come out, they're motivated to come out, and now, again, they're having to huddle themselves, as both teams are doing, trying to manage the moment. And you can see them there, both Sheffield and Oaklands, just trying to manage the emotions right now.
Leading scorers in the game so far. I mean, in some ways, the number on the right of that is more important than the one on the left with McRae and De Silva on 3 fouls. And how much of the second half can they play? Because they're 1 foul away from having to sit down for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do. I think, you know, Z mentioned they might go to a little bit of zone. We'll see if they do that. They have got the length to be able to do that and still own the boards against Sheffield. So it'll change the pace a little bit as well, which I don't know whose hand that falls into. They're so close on fast break points and points off of turnovers. So.
And the other thing about it is, because of the foul trouble, both ends of the floor, by the way, Ashby and Gale, they played 6 minutes and 7 minutes of the contest, and we talk about how important they are for their respective teams, and they haven't really had a chance to get into the game and get a flow.
No, I think, Gale, like Ashby, that she's only taken 3 shots. Or Georgia, she's only taken 4, She's a player that Sheffield need to play well to win. She's made British Team of the Year this year. She's just had a really good season, and she's led from a points perspective as well for her team. So they need her to get firing on all cylinders.
And she's led the team in minutes as well, Georgia Gale, at 29.7 minutes per game. She's not going to get that many today, and Ashby too generally plays big minutes for the team. And again, I go back to that comment we were talking about earlier, is when you sit down early in the game and you don't play, in Georgia Gale's case, the entire second quarter, then you get a 15-minute halftime, then you get a delay at the start, suddenly it's ticking to 45 minutes since you've been out there in anger.
Yeah, and I think, especially with Georgia, she's a player that plays with her head, all right? So she's sitting on the bench. You saw her. She was engaged. She's watching what's happening. She's looking at the adjustment. She's thinking about what her team need to do next, But like you said, her output is just lower because she's not been out on the floor. She averages 16 points per game, and, right now she's only got 2, so there's more from her to come.
Well, it doesn't actually look like she's coming back in at the start of this second half either, which is an interesting choice. It's almost like, well, maybe we just save her for a big hit at the end or something. And of course, from a player's perspective, they're kind of stuck here now into, do I stretch a little bit more? Do I put a few shots up? How long is it going to be? It's sort of discombobulating.
Yeah, no, it is for sure. It's just one of those sort of unforeseen things, but, isn't that what champions are made of? They're people that have a plan, and then when the plan doesn't go to plan, they can play off of that plan. So, I think the team here that can just manage their emotions, play the game in front of them, take each moment as it comes, is the team that's going to come out on top.
Well, whatever it is, it's been sorted, and we get the third quarter underway. It is Oaklands with the first possession, who go with the same starting 5 they began the game with. Sheffield with that one change, with Walker into the starters and Gale on the bench still.
Walker had a good half as well for Sheffield. 7 points personal for her, shooting 42%.
Ashby loses the ball. So Sheffield, who trailed for the whole of the first half, have a chance for their first lead of the contest. Gandini trying to look for Crisper. There's no pass there. Shot clock down to 4. Harrison's going to have to heave it up. Didn't hit the rim. It'll be a shot clock violation.
Gandini again just struggling on the switch off the ball screen. Being able to just step round and get that into Crisper, who had a seal on the baseline. Sort of makes the ball stick a little bit.
Beckford Norton, the pass a little off radar, and McGee Pleasant can't pull it in. So suboptimal start for both teams.
Yeah, maybe a little bit expected. Happened at the beginning, not giving them any excuses, but
Walker into Crisper. She lobs it up, it just doesn't drop, gets her own rebound though. Here's Walker. Her shot doesn't go, and that will stay with Sheffield.
Singleton doing a really good job down there as well on the offensive glass. I think you can see, that's obviously something that Coach Ellis talked about, was the rebound battle. We saw it improve towards the end of the second half, and Sheffield have to just give back a little bit of what they've taken from Oaklands. And the more you can put teams under pressure on the offensive glass, the more shots you're going to get for yourself. But
first foul of the game on Beckford Norton. Gandini with the drive, can't convert. Sheffield, by the way, have drawn level in offensive rebounds with Oaklands, which they couldn't get any early on. McRae trying to force that home. Harrison doing a good job to come down with the defensive rebound.
A really good defensive staying vertical.
Crisper. Singleton. Trying to back O'Day down to the basket, and still they can't convert.
Really nice footwork from Singleton. She just couldn't get it to go on the finish.
0-0 after the first 2 minutes of the third quarter.
Second turnover already of the half for Oaklands.
Nice pass from Walker to Singleton, who will score this time, and for the first time this afternoon, Sheffield are in front.
That's what they need to do off of those switches. Just get the ball into the mismatches inside and let the bigs do the work.
Ashby fires up the three, and she's on the ball.
Can't let her catch in rhythm.
Gandini's pass is deflected away by Beckford Norton. Well, now is the moment for Georgia Gale to return to the action. 3 minutes into the third quarter. Remember, she picked that third foul up in the dying embers of the first quarter.
Just got to let the game come to her a little bit here. Just play whatever's in front of her.
Well, she's trying to make up for lost time by driving to the rim, but cannot convert. De Silva splashes the three. Back-to-back triples for the Wolves.
100% from the three-point line.
Oh, Harrison blows the left. I think she was trying to draw a foul. Beckford Norton. De Silva out to Ashby. McGee Pleasant has it knocked away by Gandini. Crisper's able to save possession for Sheffield. Gale drives and lays it in. Georgia Gale with her first points of the second half.
That's what she needed, just an easy one. I mean, she created it, but just an easy one for herself there.
Foul called there as Beckford Norton took it into the key. She passed it out though, so it won't be a shooting foul.
I think again, like, you know, when a player's that deep under the rim, they've come off their feet, don't bail them out.
Comes out, Bobby Frost comes back in.
Different sort of Frost back into the game, made a real impact when she came in the first half. Ashby, same spot, different result this time. Gandini with the rebound.
Great screen by De Silva there and making contact to get Ashby open.
Harrison with the triple, screams to the air after that one goes down.
5th point of the afternoon, it just means so much to her, you can see it.
Oh, double team here, done well to get out of that. De Silva just had enough on that to get it over the front of the rim.
Really slow on the secondary rotation. The initial rotation was good, but too long to shoot that for De Silva.
Gale kicks it back out. Singleton drives, and she puts it in, and the lead trades hands again.
Singleton's come out well here. 4 points for her already.
Thrown away, and an offensive foul call. Beckford Norton called for the charge.
And this is what we mean about Shauna Harrison. She is just a baller, you know. Offensively, defensively, she just plays in the moment, every moment. Great defensive possession from her.
Here's Georgia Gale. It's a Shauna Harrison.
Harrison. Crisper trying to thread the needle over the top, but it's out of bounds and goes back to Oaklands.
Just not enough height on that.
It's a Beckford Norton.
Beckford Norton.
Shini's Beckford Norton. Sam Ashby takes over.
Ashby back to Beckford Norton. Shot clock down to 5 here. Ross fires up off the mark. Crisper with the rebound.
Sheffield doing a really good job of making Oaklands take shots they don't want to take there in that possession.
Singleton spins baseline, is blocked by De Silva. Away comes Beckford Norton. Beckford Norton running it back, and well, Gayle just ran underneath her and sort of put her off. Gandini's going to fire up the transition 3, gets her own rebound, and lays it in for 2 instead.
Biggest lead for Hatters that they've had so far here. Really riding the wave that they started in the end of the second.
Ashby looking to level the scores as she hits another 3, her 3rd of the game, and we're tied at 43.
She's just making big shot after big shot. That is why she's Team of the Year this year, Finals MVP. Big players make big shots, and she's doing that right now.
Beckford Norton called for the foul, but as you said, Ashby, if you're half a step off, that's going up. And she's feeling it right now.
You just can't give her any breathing room. 7 points personal. Ashby 4 rebounds as well.
Gayle drives, rims out, another offensive rebound. Washington trying to force it home, but doesn't go, and it's a scrum on the floor. That'll be a hell ball, and the arrow will give it to Sheffield.
Just so much better on the offensive glass from Sheffield.
Emma
Gandini.
That's now Collier.
Here's Collier, loses the ball. McRae gobbles it up. Poked away by Gandini though. Sheffield will get it back.
Quick hands.
Gandini back to Harrison, who lays it in transition.
Beautiful pass, beautiful finish. That's Hatters at the best.
Sarson on to McRae.
Sam Ashby takes over.
Ashby gets to the free throw line. Knocked away by McRae. That'll be a Sheffield ball, but fantastic transition from Sheffield. Knocked loose by Gandini, and then she combined with Harrison for the score.
Sam Ashby out for Oakland Wolves. Shini's Beckford Norton back into the ball game.
10 steals for the Hatters in this ball game.
They're second in the league in points from turnovers. They average 21.9 points per game from turnovers.
That's a massive number. Washington drops it in, and the Hatters fans punch in the air as their team moves 4 points clear.
It feels like a different team that we're watching right now than we watched in that first quarter.
McRae, wow. We talked at the top of the show. She is a tough shot maker. That's the toughest of the day.
Range game is beautiful.
Gayle driving in. Not quite able to lay that home, but she will go to the line for 2. McRae just makes buckets that really shouldn't go in. That's an incredible shot.
Yeah, she just has that nice little fadeaway. She's able just to tilt away slightly, and she releases the ball high.
Well, Coach Ryan just given a warning from the officials. He has been fairly vocal in this quarter. Gayle makes no mistake, from the free throw line.
6 points for her now.
Ooh, knocked loose. That's going to be a backcourt. McRae grabbed the ball and then stepped into the backcourt. She needed to get into the backcourt and then grab the ball.
Again, it's the defense, handing the passing lane, forcing the catches further out than Oakland's want to catch the ball.
Well, you only get 14 seconds on the shot clock when you have possession in the front court, so Sheffield have to go quick here. Does Gale see it? Yes, she does, but no way past McRae. But there's Gandini again making a nuisance of herself defensively.
Smart decision from Beckford Norton. Getting what they want, just jacking it up.
Well, McRae was challenged that time by Washington. Here's Walker.
Gandini into Manny Washington. Hands over
Gale.
to Georgia Gale. Gale looking for the space.
Gale needs some options here. 5 on the shot clock. Is that on McRae? It's going to be her 4th if it is.
Foul called on Danny McRae.
It is Danny McRae heading to the bench on 4 fouls. And Oakland's second leading scorer in the game is going to have to sit down.
Again, just disappointing because she's seen how the game's being called. She actually had decent position, even if the ball was caught in the paint. She could have played 1-on-1 D with a size difference.
Well, we talked about the foul differential in the first half. That's continued here in the second. 5-1 in this quarter.
2 for 2 from Destiny Walker.
And Sheffield continue to make free throws. They've got 19 free throw makes already. Nice pass, but Battle can't force that one home. It'll stay with the Wolves though.
Second time that Bo Frost just playing like a veteran out there, just landing the ball where people want it to catch and finish. But Oakland's got to do a better job of finishing inside.
Beckford Norton straddling the three-point line, misses the shot.
Walker with the drive into Gandini.
Gandini. Well, that's a foul on Sarson, playing defense with her hands and not her feet. And again, they're over the limits. It's 2 more free throws.
I think really smart as well, the way that Sheffield have come out. They're putting Oakland under pressure. They know how the game's being called as well, so they're just going to keep driving, keep attacking.
Change for the Hatters coming out, Emma Gandini. Coming back into play.
Harrison returns to the game for Gandini.
Destiny Walker
as
hits the first.
Walker makes the 20th free throw of the game for Sheffield. They struggled early on, but they're now 21 of 27, so pretty decent.
She's hit 5 as well herself from the strike.
Battle again misses from close range. There's a couple of ticks left, and Gale says we won't run it back. We're not going to get there. And Sheffield continue the momentum that they took into the halftime break here in the third quarter. And they've scored 21 again for the second consecutive period, and more importantly kept Oaklands to only 13. And that is why they have now taken a stranglehold on this game.
Yeah, and I think in the past, this is what's been dangerous about Sheffield teams. Once they do start to build the lead because of the discipline that they show and the way that they fight on the defensive end, it's really hard to get that points difference back in your favor once they have started to build a lead.
Well, the shooting percentage is continuing to go up for Sheffield, but look at the free throw line. That is where the game is being won right now for the Hatters. They've scored 16 extra points, more than Oakland's from that free throw line.
Yeah, and we have to shout out Destiny Walker. I think when Gail was having to take the rest in the first half, especially in that second quarter, and here early on in the second half, she's really carrying the team. She's got 5 of 9 from the charity stripe there, 11 points for her, 4 rebounds and 3 assists as well. She's put in a good shift for her team.
Well, as we look back at the highlights from the third quarter, Sheffield squeezing the life out of Oaklands. You think Ashby made those shots early on in the quarter. There wasn't too much offense after that for the Wolves, and it seemed to come so easy for them in the first quarter, but in the middle too, they barely doubled their tally. They had 21 at the end of the first quarter. They've had 24 since then.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to keep talking about the fouls, but you have to adjust the way you play, right? Not just when we're looking at foul trouble, but throughout the game. You have to adjust whatever the other team are doing differently. You have to be able to change what you're doing to try and find different ways to take advantages in the moment. And I think right now Sheffield are winning that battle. Interestingly as well, I think with Sheffield we're starting to get up there with players in double digits, and we know that when they play well.
Well, we also know that Beckford Norton had a pretty impressive fourth quarter in the Cup final in Birmingham in January. And the Wolves are going to need more of that as this period ticks down. Collier misses the 3, and it was almost into the hands of Walker, but goes out of bounds.
Whenever you've got Shanice on your team, you know that there's a potential spark that can happen. Can just lead the team. And a little points run.
Dawson drives and kicks. Almost went to Vanessa Ellis. She stepped aside rather than catch and shoot.
She's going to leave that to Gandini and Gale.
Yeah. Well, here is Gale from miles out for 3, and it goes! Right on cue, Georgia Gale with the triple, and it's a 9-point Sheffield lead.
Takes her to 9 points personal.
Into the silver. Here's Beth.
Well, Oaklands need a response here, and they nearly get a turnover. Good work again from Walker.
And they're the extra efforts that you need to win a showpiece final like that.
Look how far out Gale is here on the street, like miles out.
It's Caitlin Clark range right there.
It is. Beckford Norton for 3. Hers doesn't drop. Harrison with the rebound. She's fouled in the process as well.
Look, but again, it's those, they're not little plays. These are the plays, making sure you box out and making sure you get that rebound on a one and done. Those things are so important in finals. I know, you know, we see the highlights of people scoring, but Walker getting the tip on the block defensively there, Shauna cleaning up on the glass. These are the things that win the game.
I think Oakland's had 8 offensive rebounds in the first quarter, if I remember rightly. It was a lot. They've only got 11 in total. Gale from miles out again. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding me? Georgia Gale on the shot clock buzzer. Unbelievable shot.
Well, Coach Vanessa Ellis absolutely loves that one. Look, if anybody is going to put their cape on and win it for their team, it's going to be Georgia Gale. I mean, she got fouled on that, did she? I don't know.
Well, she was closer to the halfway line than the three-point line, that's for sure. What an incredible shot from Georgia Gale. And those are the gut punches. If you're on the Oaklands team, sat on the bench there, and you see, well, she hit a Caitlin Clark 3, as you said, and then went back and hit another one from even further out.
But this is the story, isn't it? This is the history. Like, she wants it so much. This is her family legacy, you know. It's her aunt on the bench. It's her grandma that started the whole thing, and she's showing up for her family, for her club, and for Sheffield when it matters.
Well, just an absolutely incredible, and imagine being on that bench there and seeing that go in. And you just think, wow, maybe it's not our day.
Yeah, I always think when things like that happen, it may be a sign from the basketball gods that maybe it is Sheffield's day today, but still so much to play for, 8 minutes left here.
Well, the most decorated team in British basketball history has their eyes on yet another prize. Still 8 minutes to play, but Sheffield, who've got 17 playoff titles to their name, eyeing number 18 here. Another three, this time it's Harrison who knocks it down, and Sheffield are on a roll.
Sheffield junior players into the senior team that are doing it for the Hatters right now.
De Silva replies with a three of her own. They needed that, the Wolves.
What a game Lavinia De Silva has had. 16 points personal for her.
Oh, Gale trying to get three the old-fashioned way, but that one didn't go. Little slap on the arm from behind by Sarson. Well, nobody steeped in Sheffield history more than their coach. As he talked of the lineage from Betty Cadona that runs right through the very fabric of the Hatters.
And they're starting to get up there with double-digit scoring. Harrison, she's on 10. Gale, 14. Singleton, 10. Walker, 11. This is what they did in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals.
Oh, nice pass. Oh, Harrison couldn't quite keep it in, but the Wolves are able to run the other way. Sarson for three. Doesn't go. Gale with the rebound.
Gale will bring it forwards.
Chasing impacts here, the Wolves, but they're just committing more fouls. That's going to be a fourth now on De Silva, and another and one for Sheffield.
And really just calm, smart play when she got double teamed from Gale. Just whips it across to the open player. And then Shauna just one more pass. And they're able to attack the long closeout for the easy and one.
Well, De Silva sits down, 4 fouls for her, 16 points in total. So that's De Silva, Beckford, Norton and McRae on 4 fouls. And Sheffield, I think, have only committed 1 foul in the entire second half.
But they're playing tough defense.
Yeah.
They're getting hands in the passing lane. They're just playing defense without fouling.
It looked like on that last play, it was a foul waiting to happen, really, from the Wolves.
Hands over to Georgia Gale. Still with Gale. There's Manny Washington.
Washington has a pocket pick by McGee Pleasant, chasing it back and laying it in for 2 much-needed points. Is there still enough time for the Wolves here? 6 minutes to play. They need a big run. They led by 13 in the first half. They trail by 13 here in the fourth. Well, that's a stop. A fortunate turn of events for Oaklands.
And that's what they need. They have to get stops and scores. They're not going to get this all back in 1 or 2 possessions. They've just got to keep chipping away at it. 2 stops here. And they'll get a score now.
Beckford Norton.
Beckford Norton.
Great pass into Terry Battle.
Battle back out to Beckford Norton for 3. Off the mark. Singleton rises high for the rebound.
Is Georgia Gale for the Hatters to Destiny Walker.
Walker just stumbling and couldn't quite lay it in, but there's Singleton again on the glass. And a timeout is going to be called here. 5:28 to go. And the fans in the crowd of a Sheffield Persuasion are starting to feel it. They're starting to get into celebration mode. There's still 5.5 minutes to play. But their team continues to keep the scoreboard ticking. And all they have to do is go score for score. And Sheffield have really turned it up. They had a slow start to the game. Took them 4 minutes to score, but since the second quarter onwards, they've been just throwing them in from everywhere.
Yeah, they really have. And I think, it does show, they talked about it, that their identity really is a defensive team. And as soon as they started to talk more on defense, be more active on the ball and off the ball, it kind of starts to lock in. It just brings that concentration, that focus, and they're just letting it flow on the offensive end. And Singleton there, another rebound. She's got 8 rebounds right now. That was her first offensive, but a timely one. She's up to 12 points as well. So they just have to keep making those multiple efforts. And it's hard. I've been there playing against a Sheffield team that's got the momentum and they've built a lead. It's really hard to chip away at that lead.
5:28 to play in this playoff final between the Wolves and the Hatters.
Well, here come the Wolves. They need a run. They need it now.
For Oakland Wolves.
Here's Beckford Norton driving in under pressure. Good rebound from McRae, who forces it home. While all of the players in foul trouble are out there, there is no saving them now with 5 minutes to play. Good hands from Ashby. Did it take a double deflection? It did, so it's going to be an Oakland's ball.
And I think that's just a bit more composure on the pass. She should have seen that both players were going out to Gandini and Gale was wide open. Breakdown on the defensive end for Oaklands, but Sheffield just don't make them pay.
Well, a timeout here for Vanessa Ellis. I think this is just a calming timeout. Let's not go away from what we've been doing, because it can be hard sometimes. 5 minutes from the end, you suddenly see the finish line there. You think, oh, we can do this. Let's try and slow it down, or let's try and do something slightly different to get ourselves to the line. Just carry on doing what you've been doing.
Yeah, it's a really smart timeout, and I think she's done it straight away when she's felt, okay, there's been 2 stops here, we haven't scored in a couple of possessions, and Oaklands have managed just to close the gap a little bit, but rather than allow that sort of run to continue, she's just stopping the momentum here, just reminding her team of what got them there in the first place.
Make some noise for your Super League freestylers.
Wow, what is going through his mind right now? That 13-point lead they held in the first quarter seems a lifetime away. Can they overturn a 13-point deficit in 5 minutes and complete the treble? Here's Ashby with the spin, and the foul is called.
She started the half really aggressively. That's the first shot we've seen her take in a little while. Sometimes it's about getting the ball in the hands of the people that you know are going to deliver.
Ashby takes her tally up to 11.
That's his turn to bring it forwards with Georgia Gale.
Gale with the ball in her hands, leaves it on to Singleton.
Walker takes over. Christmas to Gandini.
Gandini. Gale backs away, didn't quite get behind the 3-point line. Doesn't go anyway. Ashby pulls up for 3. Crispa thought she'd pulled the ball away, but is called for a Hellborn, then throws it away in frustration before realizing the arrow's going your way, you still get the ball.
Gazzini with the restart to Georgia Gale.
Obviously just lost in the moment of the effort play there.
4 minutes to play here in the O2. Gale driving to the rim and lays it in. 16 points for Georgia Gale. What a response from her.
Yeah, 2 steals as well, 3 rebounds, but you can't say enough about how it is to spend a whole half almost on a bench and then be able to come out and lead your team in the way that she's leading them right now.
Well, she's going to get a little break right now, but she sits right at the closest seat to the subs bench, ready to come back in when her number is called again, as I'm sure it will be very shortly. Ashby trying to create some room for 3, and they're going for the home run shots now, aren't they, the Wolves?
Yeah, you know, I think the last few possessions, they just haven't found shots that have worked for them.
Here's Destiny Walker.
Work a bit harder off the board to be able to find yourself those catch and shoot.
Harrison finds Nina Crisper. Quick pass into Destiny Walker. Walker with the drive.
A nice drive from Walker, and the foul is called. She'll go to the line for 2.
She's playing such a great game. She's looked to shoot when she needs to, but she's attacking the rim as well. Get into the line again. This will be her 10th and 11th foul shot.
Well, she'll have a think about it on this time out, as the teams will just talk it over with 3:23 to go. Well, 3:23 away from yet another piece of silverware for this historic club, but Vanessa Ellis will know a lot can still happen in 3:23. It is a great day in the British basketball calendar, and it's been a game of ebb and flow, of lead and counter lead.
She said, which way? There you go, kiss on the cheeks. We take those. You two, can I have a kiss?
Well, they've been leading pack in the league this season. Everybody else has been chasing them down. They topped the standings. They've been to all 3 finals. But they've got to find their best 3:23 of the season to avoid defeat in that final game.
Destiny Walker misses the first.
Well, Walker misses them both. Crisper got a hand on it, but Beckford Norton brings it away. Still down 13. Beckford Norton trying to make it 11, but misses.
Into Nina Crisper. Crisper finds Shauna Harrison.
Harrison drops it off to Crisper. Nice pass and a good finish.
Another really good heads-up play from Harrison.
Oh, Cantini almost stole it. Ashby for 3, knocks it down.
She's doing everything she can to
All
keep
sloppy.
her team.
Beckford Norton with the steal. Sarson out to Beckford Norton for 3. Oh, that would have put some nerves in Sheffield Hearts, no doubt about it, if that had gone in. Out of bounds. That's going to go back to the Wolves.
Get the possession.
Well, I said I didn't think it'd be long.
Yeah, I think this is a smart sub, you know. Just needed a couple of minutes to be able to play out the game. Get Gale back in and just settle things down a little bit here. It feels like the momentum is in Oakland's hands at the moment.
Beckford Norton.
Beckford Norton. Gets it back. Little runner off the back iron. Thrown out. Ashby again looking for three. Rafferty with the rebound. She can't convert. The referee's not sure. It's going to be a Sheffield ball.
The Sheffield Hunters get the call. 2:10 on the clock. Wolves 61, Hunters 73.
Bit of full court pressure here from Oaklands, but easily handled by the Hatters.
And now Gale will back out and try and run some clock as we go into the final 2 minutes. And Ashby diving out, commits the foul.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the thought process was behind that foul, but Georgia is a really smart player. You know, it's one of the things she does really well. When she feels the momentum of the defender moving forward at her, she's smart enough to dip her shoulder and take the contact.
Georgia hits the first.
Gale, what a second half she's had.
David Norton looking for the quick reply. Finds Beth
Sarson. Step back for three. Doesn't go. Away come the Hatters, and they're now 100 seconds away here from victory in the playoff final.
Hatters slowing it down.
Walker driving to the rim, and as they have been all day, relentlessly getting to the free throw line.
Destiny Walker will go to the line for two. Bo Frost and Terry Battle back in for the Oakland Wolves. Lavinia De Silva and Shanice Bedford Norton come out. First one doesn't fall from Destiny Walker.
First one doesn't go. Second one is good.
It's Sam Ashby.
Ashby drives through, is blocked, is fouled by Singleton. It will be 2 free throws. Ashby from the free throw line, 16 points for her and 17, but their time and score is well against the Wolves. Gandini says we don't need any more points, we want to run some clock instead. Well, they eventually commit a foul. The problem is if 12 seconds have gone off the clock, it's almost like, well, you didn't get the foul quick enough, you might as well try and get a stop
Play the
instead.
defense out. Yeah, for sure. I think it's just interesting. I was watching Georgia Gale there talking to Walker. She didn't want her to hold the ball. She wanted to get it over into Shauna's hands because she understands, you know, we don't want the shot clock, we don't want the game clock to be stopped.
Well, 2 for 2. Walker's got to the line a lot, but she had only been 50% from the line before that one. Sarson driving quick for 2.
Another 2 for the Oakland Wolves. Just over a minute to play.
Minute to play. Need to get it across midcourt. Oh, just in time there.
Gale looking for the gap.
Slap down. I think Sarson commits the foul.
Foul called on Beth Sarson.
Georgia Gale, who hasn't missed a free throw today, goes to the line.
Georgia Gale at the line for 2.
Just a really phenomenal performance
Yeah,
from her.
I was about to say she had 3 fouls in the first 9 minutes. And she hasn't committed one since. She hadn't missed a free throw till that point, by the way.
Commentators cursed.
Yeah, made the second. Do I get credit for that as well?
You don't get credit for anything.
That's true. Ashby for 3, still trying, still pushing, but the time is against them. Oh, Ashby stolen it away, and she'll run it back, and she scored 5 points in quick succession. But Sheffield just need to run the time. Harrison to Gandini underneath. She misses. And they've got it back, the Wolves. Battle running quickly, lays it in. It's down to 7, but there's only 19 seconds left. And, well, Vanessa Ellis calls the timeout, hands on hips, arms out wide. I was like, what are we doing here? Just get it over the line.
I think the last possession was really interesting as well. I wasn't sure if Harrison was going to send that pass or not, but it was a wide open layup. You would expect Gandini to make it. Equally though, Oaklands were nowhere to be seen in the front court, so they could have really shaven some time off of the clock. Ashby, just a phenomenal fourth quarter from her.
Well, if it was a 41-minute game or a 42-minute game, you'd say, here come the Wolves. I just don't think there's enough time. Down 7 with 19.1 seconds to go.
I mean, you'd expect to see them trying to send Sheffield to the line. Be interesting to see if Sheffield advance the ball as well.
Yeah, you can keep it in the backcourt, and obviously the shot clock doesn't come on, but you're not worried about the shot clock because they're going to foul you. It makes it easier to inbound the ball because you can run the baseline. But obviously if you turn it over, you're closer to the basket.
Yeah.
I think they are advancing it. Well, this here, from a Sheffield point of view, is find somebody in pink and hold on to the ball.
And I think also find your good foul shooters as well, because you know what's coming.
Well, it's Gale to inbound.
Panthers with the restart. It's into Destiny Walker.
Walker is fouled immediately.
Foul called on Terry Battle.
Walker is 9 of 16 from the free throw line today. Unbelievable effort to get to what is now going to be 17 and 18 free throw attempts in the game. She's normally an 83% free throw shooter, so a little down on her averages today. But it's volume that matters most. That's her 10th make. You can see what it means. They are so close.
2 for 2 from Destiny Walker.
Tears in the eyes of players on the bench. You can smell it.
Oh, that's going to be a foul on a three-point shot. Well, again, Vanessa Ellis has that look of, what are we doing? Use your head.
How many times have we heard that from Vanessa? But, you know, I think they've got to close this game out, and quite rightly, that is the only way they're going to close it out. They need to, you know, take a minute, take a breath, calm down and play from their head.
First one doesn't drop.
Well, you can see, you've been there, you know what it means.
Yeah, there is no other feeling like it. You know, and I think it's just a reflection of the season that they've had, and I think the bonds that they've built over time.
Well, Ashby misses. Georgia Gale with the rebound, and they just need to run out the clock here. It's been too long since Sheffield have been in the winner's circle, but they're seconds away now. This team, whose name is littered throughout the history of British basketball, they've not won a trophy since 2019, which is probably a normal spell for most clubs, but not for Sheffield.
No.
They don't normally go a year without winning something, never mind 5 or 6, but you can see the celebrations begin.
Yeah, you really can't describe it. When you put so much work in, so many sacrifices, all the ups and downs of a season that every team faces, you know, and I think when you manage to get it over the line, I think Georgia again there, she's trying to hold back the tears as well, get these last 2 seconds done.
Well, it is Gale who comes up with the ball, and it is Sheffield who start to celebrate. They're the playoff champions once again. The Hatters have come from behind in the most glorious way to finish the season as the last one standing. They are the playoff champions.
Look at the scenes, and you know, I think so many times Vanessa's been in this moment and she's won these games, but every single one matters. And I think, like you said, when you've had a period where you haven't won one for so long, how special. Just look at what it means.
Well, they were very much the underdogs coming in, and in the first 10 minutes of this game, they looked every bit the underdog, but they regained their composure. They found a way, and it wasn't always where you thought it might come from. Walker coming in, doing a great job to steady the ship. The way they got to the free throw line when they couldn't score. Sometimes you've just got to hang into a game when it's going against you, and they did.
Yeah, and you know, I think you've really got to lean on how you play as a team, and really for Sheffield, how you play as a club and how historically you've won things over the years is by being gritty, by being physical, by playing really good defense, and that's what they did tonight.
Well, let's get some reaction. Vanessa Ellis is with Bob.
Coach, congratulations off the back of an 11-point first quarter. I don't know how you did that.
Well, I've got trust in my team. People stepped up. We just changed our attitude, became more aggressive, and you know, people just went for it, and that showed that we were a team. We stuck together when it was tough and came through the other side. So, you know, it's amazing. What a great team effort.
What you didn't do is get into foul trouble like your opposition did.
Yeah, you know, we've worked on that all week about keeping hands out, being physical with our bodies, and the girls for the most did it and just got through a tough time, but by sticking together. What a great job for the players.
You never lose faith in this group, do you?
No. You know, I give them a hard time, but, you know, it's about getting the best out of them. And that's what they've shown today. True character, great, and just great basketball.
Just show you how hard it was to find an MVP. We couldn't decide right until the end, and obviously the person we're going to speak to was but it was a team effort, wasn't it?
Complete team effort, and that's how we've played all season. You know, we don't have anybody in All-Star 5 of team, you know, so it's about the team.
Let's talk to Destiny. What a day that was for you. What a game, wasn't it?
Thank you. Yes, we just wanted to come out here and play hard. We lost to Oaklands a few times earlier in the season, and I was one of the players that came in a little bit late into the season, so I just wanted to come here, play hard, and do whatever the team needed from me, whether that was rebounds, getting defensive stops, driving to the basket, whatever they needed. So.
What were you thinking when you hadn't scored in the first 4 minutes?
I was just thinking, just keep on driving the ball. I was getting to the basket, getting open looks, but they weren't falling. But, you know, I have faith in myself, and I'm thankful for God for helping me come out here and play the game.
Just very briefly sum up what this means to you as well.
It means a lot. It means a lot for the Hatters to come in here and get a final. My first time playing in the UK. I'm really happy, and I'm excited for the girls.
Go and enjoy the celebration.
Thank you.
Well, she is very delighted, and some great words from Vanessa as well. She gets after them occasionally, but pushed all the right buttons today.
Yeah, and her team responded, and it was grit, you know, and I think just before those interviews we were saying, and I've just noticed that Vanessa's jacket is reversible, and she now has a glittery jacket on ready for the confetti to fall. That's amazing. Anyway.
It is quite an amazing jacket, even from where we're sat.
Wow.
It's sparkling in the air, but heartbreak for Oaklands. It'll feel bad right now, but in a week or two when they reflect, this has been an unbelievable season for the Wolves. A team that barely ever made it into the playoffs, have made it to all 3 finals, won the league, and won the cup as well.
Yeah, I mean, an incredible season for them. And I know right now this is, you know, it's going to sting, it's going to hurt. You want to win every final that you find your way into, but they have to be so proud, and I think they missed Fotu today as well, but they have to be so proud of their efforts. They've done things for their club that their club's never done before, so it's all things to build on, and I'm sure they'll be looking forward to next season to build on this success.
And that was what they were talking about in the build-up, is about building the legacy, building on for the future Wolves that will come, creating that platform, and this season has certainly been that for Oaklands. Well, Sheffield have the platform, they have the legacy, they have the history, and they are just adding to it here today. And it is such a moment, such a special moment for the likes of Harrison, for the likes of Gail, who've grown up steeped in this club.
Yeah, I mean, it means everything to everyone, but it just has to mean more to those players that have poured their hearts and soul into the club, whose clubs have poured their hearts and soul into them as well. You know, it goes two ways, and I think there's no greater feeling, and it makes me feel a little emotional now, but there's just no greater feeling than lifting a trophy for a team that you care so much about and for a club that's given you so much.
And they're all going up for their medals now, and these are the moments that you will remember here. The hard work, the battles to get here, you've got to go through it, but it's these moments that you live for, that you will remember back, and the bond that you have with that group of players lasts a lifetime.
It really does, and I think, you know, Georgia talked about it in her interview at the start of the show, is that they've had a bit of a difficult season. You know, they've had injuries, they've had roster changes, and I think, you know, they talked about at the beginning of the Cup final that they were in a bit of a transitional period for them, and it's just really nice to see them coming together when it matters most, and it just feels good when you've overcome so many hurdles with a group and you've got to the pinnacle and you've performed in the way that they performed today, and they've got success for themselves.
Now we are going to get the presentation of the MVP. Not an easy pick today by any stretch of the imagination, but with 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, and some unbelievable shot making. What a second half, what a performance for Georgia Gale.
What a performance. And you know, we talk about the family legacy, and I know how that feels as well. It's so hard to handle the emotions of what that feels like on a stage like this. And I'm so proud that she's managed to do that, and she's led her team all season long, and she really deserves this.
She looked almost shocked, to be fair. I don't think she was expecting it, particularly when she sat on the bench in the first half in foul trouble, but what a second half to do it. And now is the moment that we've seen so many times over the years. The Sheffield Hatters celebrating. It's been a while, but they know how this works. Georgia Gale posing with the chairman, Jim Saker, for the pictures before she will take the trophy. A little careful looking after of the lid. Georgia Gale to the left, to the right, and back again. The trophy goes up, and the Hatters are playoff champions once again. Well, a fantastic club with an amazing, unrivaled history in British basketball. Champions so many times down the years. And they are champions once again. Another picture to add to the storied history of this great club. And, well, what a moment for the Hatters. Let's go back over to Azania and Drew in the studio.
Thank you very much, Dan. Z, we've both been involved in those celebrations before. They never get old. What did we just witness?
Well, what a fantastic half of basketball from Sheffield. They came out and absolutely devoured that third quarter. They scored 21 points again to Oakland's 13. I felt like Walker did a wonderful job when Gail was in foul trouble, right? She picked up those 3 fouls in 9 minutes, had to sit on the bench. We talked about other players stepping up. Harrison, who's the most improved player, had 10 points, and then also Singleton with 12. So multiple players coming back. We talked about the revenge that they wanted,
yes,
and
indeed.
boy, they got it.
Well, specifically, you said the third quarter, but the turning point was 2:58 in the second quarter when it was 32-20.
Yeah, and it was Georgia Gale, you know, huge. She wins MVP, and those logo threes were incredible.
Well, speaking of logo threes, she's down court with our courtside reporter, Bob. Let's hear from her.
When you got 3 fouls early in the game, I was fearing the worst, weren't you?
I was sat on the bench. I wanted to get back in the game, but I knew at that point I couldn't.
So, from your point of view, how did you turn your game around? Because you had to come off for quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I guess I got a bit of rest. I needed it, but I came back on. I was refocused and ready to go.
So, 11 points in the first quarter. You were down for quite a bit. How did the team collectively turn it around?
I think we know in a game, like, there's a game of runs, so we kind of stayed calm, spoke to each other and said, look, we got it, like, we're really positive. And then that 5 that we're on just pulled together and did it.
Did it help being a physical game and it worked to your favour?
We've not been the best with physical games, but I think because we've had a few this season, we have got better. Well, clearly we have, because we've just won a trophy in a championship.
You were, when we spoke earlier today, I think you were quite nervous. You're obviously more relaxed now. Tell me about your mindset going into that game.
I was nervous, and my focus was trying to just relax. Like, I know that we can come out and do it as a team, but it's getting those nerves out the way and just stepping on the court and just letting loose.
Very briefly then, tell me about your celebrations, what you got planned?
Let's go get some sleep, honestly. I'm so tired. I hardly sleep. I get nervous. So I need to go home and have a nap. That's what I need.
Go and talk to Dad. I'm sure he's made up for you, yeah?
I will. Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks.
Well, revenge is the sweetest joy, Siobhan. One thing that we heard constant, beginning at pregame with Vanessa's interview, team, postgame, Vanessa, team. Right there, you just heard it from Georgia Gill, team.
It's everything. It's everything, you know, to Sheffield. That's how they've always won championships historically. They've come together. They've been gritty as a team. They lead by defense first, you know. So I think they've done a great job today of sticking together. They've done an amazing job throughout the season of sticking together through the highs and the lows, and it's really nice to see them get some success as a team today.
And we talk so much about how this environment raises the senses. How was Georgia Gill able to keep her composure, hold her emotions in check after sitting on the bench so long?
Yeah, we spoke about, you know, how has she evolved, how has she stepped up. I thought she did a great job here. The nice little reverse layup, that's stunning. Also, she shoots a highest percentage in the SLB, so those logos threes were huge with momentum. Here's one of them. How deep that 3 is incredible. I thought she really was a different player in the second half.
Yeah, we got to give a word on Destiny Walker as well. 18 free throw attempts really settled the Hatters.
Yeah, she really did, and I think, you know, she was the other one. They brought her in to talk at the end that could have had that MVP performance, because when Georgia was on the bench in the first half, it really was Walker that was pulling the strings for the team, and it was really nice to see her step up for the team in the absence of Georgia and do what she did to settle the ship.
But you know who was ready was Vanessa with that reversible jacket.
Oh my gosh,
she
bling,
knew
bling.
She knew she was going to win today. I love that for her.
Well, finally, Z, let's touch on Vanessa, because I asked you who had the coaching edge at the beginning. What a move to sit Georgia there in the beginning of the third quarter.
Yeah, and you have to. You know, it's too risky. I thought she made some really lovely moves. She called the timeout in the right place.
I think the other thing is she gave Georgia time to watch the start of the second half and then get into it. And I think as a player, that's massive.
Yeah, it is.
Well, massive it is for the Sheffield Hatters. And ladies, thank you very much for your insight today. We're going to go down and party, ladies and gentlemen. But until then, we'll see you in about 20 minutes for the men's final as well. But until then, we'll see you later.
rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.